Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Memorial Stadium for the first of 4 state football championship games. And what a matchup we have in the 5A title game. Two schools heaped in rich football tradition. The Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers at 12-1, the Morris Redskins at 13-0. Good morning and welcome to a soggy Memorial Stadium. I'm Kurt Pegler. What a matchup we have here in the 5A title game. Morris at 13-0, the Redskins with only one losing season under 25-year head coach Dan Darlington. And how about Joliet Catholic making a record 12th state title game appearance, looking for their third in a row. The Hilltoppers are 12-1. There is some postseason history between these two teams. They met in the 1990 first round. Back then, the playoffs seedings were more geography as opposed to records. That game was won by Joliet Catholic, and the 1997 state quarterfinal matchup between the two teams also won by Joliet Catholic. But today's game is for a 5A state championship. And for more on the game, let's go upstairs to our play-by-play team. Here's Tom Stocker and Jack McInerney. Guys?
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. And indeed, two teams that are no strangers to being in the championship game here in the state finals. These two teams combined now for 20 appearances here in the state final game. Joliet Catholic looking for a state record 10th state championship. Morris looking to become the first team to win state titles in 3 different classes. And I tell you what, these two teams just don't like each other, Jack.
Well, they really don't like each other. They're only 20 miles apart, so they get an opportunity to see each other quite a bit. Obviously, this is the road to Champaign.
For Joliet Catholic, the game you want to look at, a game they're going to talk about for years in IHSA legends, the game against RB. And among, of course, the stars for them for this ground-gobbling offense. When you have an offensive line that averages 250 and you've got bookend tackles that are 280 and 290, J.R. Zwazinski's got great protection. As you can see, he's rushed for over 1,200 yards this year.
Well, you know, he's disguised as a high school player. He's really a college or NFL running back, but he's one heck of a load.
Matt Matichak at 200 pounds. He's one of the lightweights in the defensive line for Joliet Catholic, but that hasn't stopped him from getting good penetration.
Well, he's super quick. He has 25 sacks. The Bears certainly wish they could use him, but he's super quick, and he'll be a big factor today.
Meanwhile, for the Morris Redskins, they are the #1 seed in Class 5A this year, looking for their 3rd state championship. There you see how they got here with a shellacking of Peoria Notre Dame, beating them Bishop Mac, then a win over Triad, and a semifinal victory over Metamora. For the Morris Redskins, a balanced attack. They can run, they can throw, but right now the running game is led by Eric Strait. He has had an outstanding year. Well,
he really has. He has 1,600 yards, 21 touchdowns. He averages 5 yards a carry. Now, he'll be a key today because they have to keep the ball away from Joliet Catholic. He will be the man that they're going to be going to most of the afternoon.
Morris has lived on defense this year, an extremely athletic and quick defense led by Division I prospect, Illinois-bound Josh Tischer.
Well, Tischer has 114 solo tackles. He's all over the field, super quick. But the problem is he might never see the sun with the size of the offensive line of Joliet Catholic. He'll have his hands full today.
It's a classic battle in this game of size versus speed. The huge size of Joliet Catholic and the tremendous speed of the Morris defense.
Well, it's going to be one of those games where weather could be a factor. Benji, the quarterback, Benji Kennedy, is going to be a big factor, maybe more so than Strait today, because he's the kind of guy that's going to have to make things happen, running the option, doing a lot of things in the weather conditions. We're going to have a lot of wind today, and that could be a problem. Joliet Catholic throws the ball on a big day twice. So this is really playing into their kind of game plan.
All right, let's meet the teams in this 5A championship game. Let's go now to stadium. Public address announcer Jeff Fritzen.
First, the defense for Joliet Catholic. At end, number 17, Brad Singh. At tackle, number 99, Jim Jadron. At tackle, number 90, Mike Kaloji. At end, number 61, Matt Matichak. At linebacker, number 42, Ryan Lincoln. At linebacker, number 43, Chris Jeske. At linebacker, number 56, Chris Bakey. Strong safety, number 9, Chris Meinerich. Free safety, number 4, Jake Jaworski. At cornerback, number 5, Anthony Jutras. And at cornerback, number 34, Bobby Buchanan. The Hilltoppers are coached by Dan Sharp. And now the starting offense for Morris. At center, number 56, Dan Peterson. At guard, number 52, Tony Durin. At guard, number 78, Antonio McLaughlin. At tackle, number 58, Micah Tesdall. At tackle, number 55, Bill Petrick. At end, number 7, Kevin Lowry. At end, number 88, Brian Trusheim. Quarterback, number 5, Benji Kennedy. Halfback, number 22, Eric Strait. Halfback, number 24, Brandon Nowinski. And at fullback, number 32, Doe Valentine. The Redskins are coached by Dan Darlington.
So there are the lineups for this 5A championship on just a drizzly gray afternoon here in Champaign, Illinois. And take a look at the keys of the game. First of all, Jack, for Joliet Catholic. Well, when you got that big offensive line, you run, and you run some more.
Well, I'm not surprised if you'll see J.R. Zerwinski carrying the ball probably 40 to 45 times a game today. That sounds like a large figure. They only threw the ball against RB in that classic game once. So he's been averaging almost 300 yards a game. He'll be the guy to go to.
Also, they want to neutralize the speed of Morris and keep a blocker on the linebacker Tischer. Meanwhile, for the Morris Redskins, coached by Dan Darlington, and it's a classic matchup. We mentioned their great speed against the size. They run a lot of different offensive sets. They want to keep that mixed up and just try to keep that ball away from that ground-gaining, clock-munching offense of Joliet Catholic. These two teams 20 miles away. Morris, of course, located right on Illinois 47, right near Interstate 80. Joliet Catholic, 134 miles away from Champaign. And so there are a lot of relatives. There are cousins on both sides. These two teams certainly no strangers.
I drove through there last night, through those communities coming down here. There were no lights on in either one of those communities. Everybody's down here. Thank God I didn't run out of gas.
See, there's Craig Tomasino. Tomasino will kick it off. You'll see him as well later on when Joliet Catholic has the ball in offense. He's the Hilltoppers quarterback. And are underway for 5A. Brandon Nowinski up to the 17-yard line. And that's where the Redskins will set it up. Let's take a look at the offense now for the Redskins. Quarterback by Benji Kennedy. You see him, number 5. The offensive line, not big, but fast, with Dan Peterson anchoring there in the center. The backs and receivers, Benji Kennedy, Eric Strait, with Brandon Nowinski, and the ends are Kevin Lowry and Dan Poole. So it's first down from the 19-yard line for the Redskins. And the Joliet Catholic defense bottles that one up for just a gain of a yard as the carry Eric Strait. Take a look defensively for the Hilltoppers front four. They run a 4-3 defensive scheme. And it's anchored by the big 6'8", 292-pound senior Mike Kalaje. There he is, 6'8", 292. Meanwhile, Jim Jaderin's no shrinking violet at 240. The linebackers, Ryan Lincoln, Chris Jeske, and Chris Basie. And there's the secondary for Joliet Catholic. The second down running play doesn't net much at all on that option for Benji Kennedy. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 9.
Well, the key to this drive is to get out here and be able to punt and put Joliet Catholic in a hole. And the way the wind is blowing, and that was probably part of the reason for the choice of Joliet Catholic. There's a look at our officials.
With referee Charles Graber heading up the crew. A 3rd and 9 coming up for Morris from the Redskin 20-yard line. Kennedy rolling out. And just getting a hand on him was Matt Matichak, who made the stop, and when it looked like he had the corner turned.
Well, you know, oftentimes early field position can sometimes dictate the outcome of the ball game. Now, this is an early, obviously a very early situation, but they're punting into a very strong wind, and Joliet Catholic is going to get the ball in Morris territory to start out with, and that for a team as strong as Joliet Catholic is not a good omen for Morris this early.
Josh Tischer is going to kick into the teeth of a wind that is gusting over 30, close to 40 miles an hour from the right side of your screen towards the left here at Memorial Stadium. Tischler averaging 34 yards a punt on 25 punts this year, and he gets it away and the wind eats it up. Mike Tomasino will let it bounce, and it takes a Joliet Catholic bounce, and the Redskins down it, but Joliet Catholic's offense will set it up at the 46-yard line, a 21-yard punt. Let's take a look at the Hilltoppers offensive line that averages 250 pounds. How did Ryan Cox get in there at 210 pounds? Huge offensive line for Joliet Catholic.
Can you imagine the amount of turkeys on this one that they had to feed yesterday?
Craig Tomasino, the quarterback, with Zwierzinski, with Gruber and Hetman, a full house backfield. Kalaje and Bobby Wilkinson are the receivers. So Craig Tomasino and the Toppers with great field position.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye early.
There goes Zwierzinski, and he's going all the way. All the way, 44 yards on the touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. That is the 87th career touchdown for J.R. Zwierzinski.
Well, this is the kind of situation that he likes to showboat to the recruiters, and I don't use that term negatively. It shows his speed when he can bust one, because a lot of times they say with that kind of size, how is his speed? Now, he might be quick, but he might not have great speed. Here he shows his quickness and his speed. He's a legit running back for a Division I football program.
Great lead block by the pulling right guard, Brian Cox. I mean, he just cleared the way, and Zwierzinski went in virtually untouched. And they're going to go for 2. Chris Gruber goes in motion. And the carry, Brett Hetman, he stopped. And the try for 2 is no good. We've got a break in the action. 9:32 to go in the first quarter, and already on the board, Joliet Catholic, as we listen to some of your network sponsors. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium. One play on that drive for Joliet Catholic as they strike on the touchdown by J.R. Zwierzinski, and the Hilltoppers already in front 6-0 just so early in this quarter. Let's go take a look again and watch the great job done by the pulling guard, Ryan Cox.
Well, you spoke before about how did he sneak in there as a little guy, but you know, one of the reasons right here is that he can pull and he can trap, and he just gets right up inside here and does a great job. And he's been doing it all year. They like to trap. They have the smaller guard to his side, so when Zwierzinski comes out, he's the trapping guard that pulls out in front of him. They block back with the bigger guys and pull with the smaller guy.
Also, you saw a good downfield block by the receiver, Bobby Wilkinson, number 7, on the play as well. So J.R. Zwierzinski, who has now scored 15 touchdowns in his last 4 playoff games. The kick by Craig Tomasino. It's off the hands of Benji Kennedy, and that's going to come out to the 20-yard line. All the early signs so far, Jack, for Morris are certainly on the negative side.
Well, again, the wind is a factor. It really designates what they're going to be able to do. They're going to be going to this wind the first quarter, and I'm sure Joliet Catholic's going to want to come down their throat early, force them to punt the ball every time and take over field position inside Morris's territory. And you know, you can open up the field by formation, but you still can't throw into that wind. So they could spread them out a little bit, but Joliet Catholic is tenacious on the defensive line.
From the 20-yard line, Benji Kennedy sets him up again. And this is the give to Eric Strait. And he just churned straight ahead up to the 25-yard line. And just a very basic play. But right now, when things are going against you early, you just want to have a little success.
That first down play is real big for Morris at this point, because right now, you know, they just picked up 5 yards. That's key early. You want to come up to third down with only 2 yards to go. So those first 2 plays in the series are very important for Morris.
And again, straight ahead on the gain. Couple of yards right there on the gain for Eric Strait. Dan Sharp is looking for his 3rd straight state championship. They are the 2-time defending state champs and looking for number 3. This is a football team that has dominated. 40-1 that team has been over the last 3 years.
That's an incredible record. Incredible program. 3rd and short.
A big 3rd and 2.
Nope.
And nothing doing. On the left side, they're looking in the running back with James Sutter.
Well, that size up front, that matchup of Morris's offensive line against that big defensive line of Joliet Catholic is tough. I mean, they've got to move them out in short yardage, and Joliet Catholic is having no part of that.
Facing a 4th and 1.
Oh, wee.
Wow. Rolling the dice early from their own 30-yard line. Kennedy keeps it.
Got a good mark. I think he picked it up.
He got the first down. He needed about a foot, and he got that and then some. And a big, big early plus for Morris.
Well, that kind of tells you what Dan Darlington's philosophy is going into this ball game, what he needs to do against this very dominating Joliet Catholic defense and offensive line. He's got to take chances, and he showed you right there that he's playing to win. And his kids, he had great confidence in them. They needed to pick that up, and they got it.
Take a look at that one again, Jack, and just watch the line surge against that big defensive line.
Well, what they did is they got under their pads, and right in here you can see the movement. This right here is the key. Watch this line and where they end up, and the quarterback gets in behind what we call wedge block, and they just block down shoulder to shoulder, and he picks up the first down by about a half a yard.
So Morris will have it first down at the Redskin 31-yard line. It's going to be a mixed weather bag today. We're actually going to have maybe record highs today in the mid-60s. But you won't know that by that 30 to 40 mile an hour wind. Eric Strait gets a couple of hard-earned yards to the 33-yard line, and among the first to meet him was the big defensive tackle Mike Kalajay.
All-Stater, All-America, number 96'8", 292 pounds. 2-time All-Stater.
He and Wierzinski, by the way, are going to the U.S. Army All-American Bowl in San Antonio in January. Only one school has provided 2 players for those rosters. That's Joliet Catholic. It's a 2nd and 7. Strait trying to bounce outside. He's corralled, and he is brought down by the defensive end, Brad Singh. Dropped him for a loss at the 34.
Well, the key in this game early is the offense and defensive lines. Defensive line play of Joliet Catholic is just kind of smothering Morris, and there's going to be a time here that we start where Morris is going to need to go outside. They're going to try and have to get outside and try to outrun him.
He tried to bounce outside, and also Matt Matijak, 61, did a great job of bottling him up.
Here's the outside play we talked about, a little option with Kennedy.
Kennedy knocked out of bounds at the 37. They needed to get to the 41. It'll bring up a 4th and 4. Benji Kennedy, junior quarterback, finishing up his first year as the starter, but did see some action last year. Actually a transfer from Pontiac High School, and it took him a little while to get used to being into the Redskin family.
Well, not only that, Dan Darlington, it took a while for Kennedy to understand the offense of Morris, and then Dan also to understand the talents of Kennedy, to be able to use a few things as far as the option and those type of things.
Josh Tischer standing back at his own 23-yard line, again facing that gusting wind. Drives a nice low one.
Great kick.
I wish I could hit him off the tee into the wind like that. And it's down at the Catholic 13-yard line, a 50-yard punt for Josh Tischer. against the win. Let's take a look at this Morris defense, a very athletic and extremely quick defense, a defense that has held the opponents to 10 offensive total yards in the first quarter of their first 2 playoff games, with Dan Poole, the defensive end, along with Doe Valentine, Eric Thompson, Wayne Bogart, Rob Walls, the linebacker, Illinois-bound Josh Tischer, along with James Sutter, the backfield, Kurt Lowry, Ryan Kroos, who's had some big plays, Brandon Nowinski, and Orlando Lemus. On first down, banging it up the middle for Joliet Catholic, Chris Gruber, coming off a 99-yard performance in the semifinals against Rochelle.
Well, you know what's interesting about Gruber, on any other team probably in the state, he would be an All-American and an All-Stater. He's had a great year. He's had 1,300 yards, 21 touchdowns, but all you hear about is JR. Gruber does a great job. He's been averaging 7 yards a carry for the Hilltoppers.
After the gain of 5, it's 2nd and 5 from the Joliet Catholic 18. Zwierzinski battles to get up to the 19-yard line and pick up about 3 or 4.
Same play that they scored on the first play for a touchdown, Cox pulling, but this time the Morris quickness stuffed it.
It'll bring up a 3rd down. 3rd and 4 from the Joliet Catholic 19-yard line. The Morris defense holding opponents to 106 rushing yards per game this year. Zwierzinski then handed off to Gruber on a little inside double reverse, shall we say, and Morris, great speed, bottled him up and stopped him for no gain.
Misdirection counter. They get the defense. What they're trying to do is get Tischer moving here. They show play in one direction right here, and he hands back. What they're trying to do is get the flow going in one direction, especially Tischer, and come back the other way. Great job backside by the backside Morris defensive tackle and outside linebacker.
33, Josh Tischer, an all-stater, and he'll be playing his college football on this very same Illinois field.
Take advantage of the win. Great call.
Kick with the win. And it'll roll dead at the Morris 37-38 yard line. A 43-yard punt. And for Morris, that's a big victory early, getting a stop for their defense.
Well, the exchange and field position is a plus here for Morris. Probably people at home, a very unusual play here as far as how Joliet Catholic punts. The quarterback comes out of the center. In case it were short yardage, he could go for a quarterback sneak. Then he goes in motion, and it's a long snap back to the punter. They've done this for years, and it's really a great play.
Benji Kennedy working out of the shotgun with Eric Strait, the running back, just to his right. That's Nowinski in motion. Strait spinning his way to the 40-yard line, and he picks up a couple of yards.
They want to give Joliet Catholic a bunch of various formations to see how they adjust. Dan Darlington runs out of a lot of different formations, and I think what's happening is they're giving them a little piece of this and a little piece of that to see what adjustments they can make and which ones will open up that defense of Joliet. They want to figure out which formation will be the best one for them to continue to use.
Morris has been balanced this year, averaging 240 yards rushing, 92 yards a game passing. They can pass when they need to. For Morris, that's extremely balanced, really. Trying to get outside Eric Strait. He slowed up and dropped. It was Brad Singh, the defensive end, that knocked him first off balance, and a loss on the play back to the 38-yard line, a loss of 2.
You know, that's great quickness by Brad Singh. He's 6'4", he's 215 pounds. He's only a junior. Did a nice job of stretching that play out.
Take a look. The different averages, the Morris offensive line averaging 230. Joliet Catholic's defensive line at 237. And that includes Kalagi, of course, at 292. Benji Kennedy now facing a 3rd and 11. And he gives it inside. That's Nowinski.
Little shuffle pass inside, trying again to get flow, the secondary backing off, and the linebackers with long yardage. A safe play, but he just shuttle passes it underneath. And it's very similar to a little screen or a draw. We can see right here. Here goes the ball right underneath, and he's coming down underneath here, but shows great quickness here by Golochki. 6'8", 292 pounds, and he moves that quick. That's why he's a two-time All-Stater and an All-American.
Were you just ordering a breakfast confection there?
I must have been. Some of these names are mind-boggling for me.
Josh Tischer. It's off the side of his foot. And Joliet Catholic will start this next drive at the 43-yard line, a 17-yard punt. Goes to show you that Wynn playing the mind games with Tischer, who got off that 50-yarder before, but just shanked that one and got one for only 17 yards.
Well, it's out of the corner of his eye, like when you shank your drive off the tee. You know, when you see me standing next to you, you're a little concerned. Same with him on that rush. He saw those rushers coming in off the corner of his eye, took his eye off it just for a second, and kicked it off the side of his foot.
There you see how big that Joliet Catholic offensive line at 253 pounds, a 40-pound average advantage over Morris. Complete to Zerwinski. He's got one man to break, and he's forced out of bounds on a nice touchdown saving tackle by cornerback Orlando Lemus.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? They only threw the ball one time against Riverside Brookfield in that 56-50 win. One time, and here they throw the ball early. But this also gives you a great idea of the versatility of J.R. Zawinski. He had 21 catches during the regular season for 304 yards. He averaged 14 yards a catch, so he's a very versatile big back.
After the 25-yard passing play, Joliet Catholic has it first down at the Morris 32-yard line. Popping through, Kurt Kleeman, and he is to the 24-yard line. He's the second string fullback. Let's go down to the sidelines and Kurt Pegler.
Some family bloodlines between the two. We just spoke to somebody who's the aunt of a player on Joliet Catholic who had a sister that went to Morris. So some of these people really don't know quite who to root for today, but that's what happens when your schools are only 20 miles apart.
The mom was probably Chris Nowinski, who is now a Tomasino. Yeah, I'll explain it later. Great job by Morris's defense with Tischer leading the way, bottling up Zawinski at the 25-yard line. Zwerzinski getting only a couple, and it brings up a 3rd down and 3 for Joliet Catholic.
Well, Tischer's the big name guy on the Morris defense, but Jimmy Sutter on the other side, the other linebacker at 6'1", 200 pounds, number 34, is also outstanding. They have really two great inside linebackers.
Joliet Catholic averages over 46 running plays a game, only 9 passes a game, and you can see you got a line that averages 250. That's why they've been able to run for over 330 yards per game this season, and they've actually upped their running in the playoffs. They're running for almost 400 yards a game in postseason play. We've reached the end of the first quarter in the championship game here for Class 5A. Joliet Catholic with the lead as we hear from your local sponsors on the IHSA TV network. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Champaign. At the end of one quarter, Joliet Catholic scoring on its first offensive play of the game, and the Hilltoppers now with a 3rd and 3 at the Morris 25. Zwerzinski close to the first down. They needed to get to the 22. Looks like he got down to the Morris 21-yard line.
Well, they'll be banging him up the field right now, but you know what you're going to see? People key on him down here, and then they go back to Gruber on those counters, and it's been very effective. So the play calling selection down here in what we call the red zone will be very interesting for Joliet Catholic.
They're in the red zone here at the 21-yard line, and a fresh set of downs at 1st and 10. That is Chris Gruber, the 5'11" senior who ran for over 1,300 yards. Is able to get it to the 19-yard line, and he picks up just 2. Morris so far, outside of the big play early, Joliet Catholic has found that it's been a little tough going in between the tackles against this Morris defense.
Well, you know, all year long, Morris has relied on their defense. They've been extremely quick, and that's been their key. But you know what? They're not that small, but they do play great defense.
Zwerzinski twisting and turning down to the 14-yard line. Picks up about 4 on the play. Well, one of the things about the Joliet Catholic attack, for example, in the semifinals against Rochelle, they ran for 322 of their 366 total yards on the ground. They know when you have that offensive line, just keep working it, and eventually you're going to wear down that defense. Here's a 3rd and 4. And it looked like Steve Douglas, the right tackle, came up out of his 3-point stance, and that drew the penalty marker, our first penalty of the game.
And that's a
dead ball foul. Ball start against the offense. We pray 3rd down.
Chuck Graber, the official, does a great job and made that call right there.
You're making sure you say that so it's on tape for your games next fall, right?
Exactly right.
Okay.
You know, they call that politicking. But Chuck does a great job, he and his crew.
Dan Sharp seeing his team commit the game's first penalty, setting up now a 3rd and 9. And whistles stop that play, and flags fly just as the ball is snapped. And that may have been encroachment.
Give a little, take a little.
So the referees, who weren't busy in the first
Dead
quarter.
ball foul. Ball start. Offense.
Ball start.
Repeat 3rd down.
A little early motion, and Joliet Catholic 2 consecutive 5-yard penalties.
There's Coach Sharp right there. He's not a real happy camper right now.
Former head coach at Manuka, but he's back at his alma mater coaching. Early in the second quarter, this is the 5A championship game. Morris now facing it 3rd and long. Here's Gruber wanting to put it up, throwing it back for Zwerzinski, and he makes the catch, and he's got the first down. Holy smokes. It wasn't pretty. In fact, had it been duck hunting time, that ball could have been in jeopardy.
I was going to say, serve that with a little mashed potatoes, and you got a meal with that duck he put up there. Little tricky play down here, but you can see right here, Zwerzinski sneaking out of the backfield, and here comes the quack right up in here. But here's where that 6'3" makes a difference. He's jumping up, and right there, the 230 pounds makes the difference, because there's the line for the first down, and he picked it up.
The safety, Ryan Kroos, making the tackle. It's 1st and goal from the 10. Zwerzinski still on his feet to the 9, maybe the 8. Among those in there on the stop for Morris, Dan Poole, the defensive end, their leading tackler, their leading sack man at 17 sacks this year.
This is where the payoff comes for that kind of size that Zwerzinski has at 230 pounds. It's like having a lineman banging the ball in there, and I'm sure they'll pound him with it.
From the 8, it's 2nd and goal. Gruber dropped down for a loss back at the 9-yard line, as coming through to make the stop was Josh Tischer.
He's a good one. We talked about him in our pregame. 114 solo tackles, 44 assists. He has great movement at 6'1", 210 pounds. We can see him right here and watch him penetrate right inside, make a great play right here. That's a great fundamental tackle. That's one heck of a linebacker right there.
He had 17 tackles in their semifinal win over Metamora. 3rd and goal from the 9. And here's Zwerzinski getting the handoff from Gruber, and he is dropped. He is dropped by James Sutter, the linebacker, back at the 18-yard line for a loss of 9.
Now Tischer makes it on one side with great penetration, and then the other linebacker, James Sutter, let's keep an eye on him right here. The gaps will come right in here, and he is going to fill right in here and make the play. Watch this. He's coming around, and here he comes right in, gets in behind the blocker. Great play right there by James Sutter, 6'1", 200 pounds senior. Great play.
Against the win, well, they've only kicked 5 field goal attempts this year. They're going to go for it on 4th and goal. The quarterback, Tomasino, throwing in the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Caught by Mike Kalajay.
6'8", that's the reason. Throw it up for grabs, and hopefully he'll out-jump him at 292 pounds. 2-time All-Stater and an All-American. That's when you go to the big guy. When it counts, short yardage, throw it up against a small DB, And he's out here, and he's going right up the field here. And again, it's another duck, but watch this. That's the difference. 6'8" against a 5'10", and he comes down with the ball. It's great to have those kind of weapons, especially in the red zone where he doesn't have to run a deep route. Just let him run 10 yards and throw it up for grabs.
Even in football like basketball, you can't coach height. Zwerzinski, and he's going to throw it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion to Kalaje. So Kalaje gets all 8 points on that scoring drive. Joliet Catholic leading 14-0 as we hear from your network sponsors on the IHSA TV network. In the first quarter, Joliet Catholic with a 70-yard edge there in terms of total yards, and obviously didn't have really the edge in time of possession.
Well, Morris did what they wanted to do as far as this is a key right here. They wanted to keep that ball, but you know, Joliet Catholic had those 2 big plays, and that made the difference. But time of possession is good for Morris if they can do something with the ball when they get it.
So now, Craig Tomasino will kick it off for Joliet Catholic. Brandon Nowinski gets up just shy of the 40-yard line, and that's where Morris will set up shop, 1st and 10. That scoring drive for the Hilltoppers, as it went 57 yards in 11 plays, capped off by the 17-yard touchdown catch by Mike Kalaje.
Well, it might be interesting now to see if Morris goes to the air just to loosen them up. They have the win in this quarter, and that's a big factor. And Benji Kennedy can throw the ball. He was 61 for 104 and 900 yards during the season.
Kennedy puts it right up where the wind to his back. Kevin Lowry with the catch, still on his feet, and all that for 2 yards at the 42-yard line. Good pursuit by the defense for Joliet Catholic, led by the linebacker Ryan Lincoln, who had 100 total tackles this year, their leading tackler.
Well, it was interesting. At first, it looked like that could develop into a pretty good play, and then all of a sudden, great pursuit by Joliet Catholic, getting over there, taking their angles, and it turns out to be a 2-yard gain in a play that looked like it could have been a pretty big one.
Morris, you see, passes only 10 times a game, and you see the averages over 240 yards rushing a game. As Kennedy going to put it up again. He's got some room to run, and he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
About 3 yards short.
Picked up 5, but it'll bring up a 3rd down for Morris.
But that's also the key. It's 3rd and short, and that's what Morris needs on 3rd down. They don't need to have 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 7. 3rd and short is what they need to stay in this ball game.
So far, Joliet Catholic with 2 3rd down conversions. Morris looking for its first so far of the game, and this is a big one right now. You're down 14. You got to make something happen.
Well, and taking advantage of this win. I mean, that's a big factor. This is probably 2-down territory for Morris based on what they did earlier.
It's 3rd and 2. Straight's got the 1st down, and he's into Joliet Catholic territory at the 46-yard line. Eric Strait just needs a seam. You don't have to have the big holes like you might for Zwerzinski. You just give him a little lane, a little bit of a look, and he can squirt right through and get you some good yardage.
Well, he runs hard for a 210-pounder, and obviously straight ahead is a better factor for him in his running game, but he can get outside occasionally.
Spoken like a true coach.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So far, Morris, 33 points a game on the regular season and in the playoffs. There's the catch by Kevin Lowry. He just made his 20th reception of the year, his 2nd of the day. And it's to the Joliet Catholic 42-yard line, a pickup of about 5.
It was a great play by the strong safety there, number 9, Chris Minerich, 6'2", 215-pounder. It's a sprint out. He's coming outside, and all they're doing is throwing a quick out. But the key, and you'll see coming in the top of the screen here, is right in here is that safety. This is the guy that originally had him. But the safety came over and made the play. Thank God for speed.
2nd and 4, and Kennedy says, we've been successful passing. Let's put it. Now he's going to run. And he actually, the ball's on the turf, but they say no, it was down. And he's at the 37-yard line, close to first down yardage. He picked up about 5 more. He made something out of nothing.
He certainly did, and that's the great athleticism that he has that in years past that not all quarterbacks for Morris had. And I think Dan Darlington has taken advantage of his great athleticism to get him out on the perimeter and make something happen.
Benji Kennedy, transfer from Pontiac. They went on a team trip down to Disney World in August, and that was one of the places where Kennedy really felt he was more and more a Redskin. It really felt that he helped merge into the Morris community, the family, where football is not just a game, it's a way of life. At both of these schools, frankly, you could say that. Wow, it's close.
It's close.
One link of the chain shy.
I hope Chuck Graber was at the Lens Crafters this week. Oh, he made the call. It was closer tonight.
It is going to be 3rd and an inch. You'll wonder about the playing surface. It does look like grass. This is the new Astro Play surface that the University of Illinois put in for this year.
It actually has rubber underneath it. If you reach down into the grass, you can pick up rubber particles.
Ground rubber, yeah.
Yes, it's a real unique surface.
Next year, there'll be as many as 22 football games played on this field, including the Chicago Bears playing their season down here next year. 3rd and short. And Kennedy's got the first down.
And interesting that he runs behind his big tackle, Antonio McLaughlin, 250-pounder. Get up in behind him. And Billy Patrick, you can see right here. Here's where the big people are right here. They're wedge blocking right here, and he wants to get right in that seam right there. And you can see the key block here by Patrick, 55, right there. And Dan Peterson, the center. Great job there by the left side of the line.
All right, a little razzle-dazzle time for Morris. The unbalanced line, and now
Joliet Catholic called a timeout.
They called it. They're going to take a timeout.
Good call. They were lucky they were able to get that timeout in.
Dan Darlington will pull into his bag of tricks any kind of a play at any time. I remember in the 1989 finals against Richard. Went to overtime. Their quarterback for Morris skipped intentionally a lateral to his flanker, who then put the ball in his hip to fake disappointment and then froze the defense with that, putting the ball in his hip, and then threw it to the end zone for their only touchdown.
You know, you are amazing. I can't even remember what I had for Thanksgiving dinner, and you're going back that far. But that was a great play. I do remember that.
Thanksgiving?
You're welcome.
Joliet Catholic, 25 appearances, Morris 19. And you can see that 9 titles for the Hilltoppers. Morris with 2 titles, but looking to become the first team ever to win titles in 3 different classes.
It's very difficult, I think, for people to understand how difficult it is to get down here to play in this game. And you look there. The coaches from both these schools are on a first name basis with the grounds crews here at Champaign and at Illinois State when we had the games there.
This is a big game for Dan Darlington because this is the first time he has brought his legendary program to the field where he played at the University of Illinois from 1969 through 72. And one of the guys who helped keep him healthy, tape those ankles, was your partner here.
You know, I think I twisted my ankle coming up on the elevator.
I'll see. Well, after the game, no charge.
You are versatile.
No charge today.
What a guy. Hey, folks, if you only knew what he was charging me over the years for that.
Straight, stopped at the line. Maybe a gain of a yard. Jim Jadron, defensive tackle, among the first to get him there, along with Matt Matichak, along with Brad Singh. Brad Singh, who's come through with some big plays today defensively. You know, a lot of stuff has been made this year about the offense of this Joliet Catholic team, but this defense, even though it gave up 500 yards to RB, still got the win.
Well, defense wins championships.
Here we go again. It's a little razzle-dazzle time again. The direct snap almost over Kennedy's head.
He's got a lot of running room. Yes, sir.
To the 20. Out of bounds at the 7-yard line. And saving the touchdown, Chris Basie. 26 yards.
Now, that was actually an option play because he had a receiver, and they were optioning the corner that was on the one receiver on the wide side of the field. Way over here on this side is the receiver coming down. Now, he's coming out. He's putting pressure on the corner. If the corner stays back, he runs like he did. This guy right there had the defensive, had the wide receiver here, and that's what it was. It was nothing more than an option. If he comes in, we throw it. If he stays back, we run it.
Haven't seen a formation like that since the old Iroquois Avenue days at Hillside.
Darn right. When we used to put it in the sand, erase that sand pit, Dan.
They're going to do it again. They spread the field on 1st and goal from the 5. Kennedy. Oh, down to the 2-yard line. The tackle made by the free safety, Jake Jaworski. Now, there's a football name for you.
Jake came up and did a nice job. What they're doing is they're lined up in man coverage over there, and as soon as he committed and got past the line of scrimmage, Jake released his man and came up and made the tackle.
Just a direct snap.
Good block right here, but Jake is right up in here, and you'll see him come in right there. He releases his man and makes the tackle. That's a great tackle right now because you got the pressure playing pass defense, and you got to come up and stop the run.
That was also Brandon Nowinski for Morris with a good downfield block. What's this, a conventional lineup? Straight to the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. Morris is on the scoreboard.
Power football, which Morris has been noted for. They have great confidence in that formation. It's called their power team or their full house backfield, short yardage goal line. And they feel as if when they get down inside the 5, they can score. You can see they took big splits in here. He's kicking out. He's running right up inside and did a nice job right up in there, and that's what you got to do. That big offensive line, and straight made the run.
So now Dan Poole with the wind to his back, 54 of 59, and point afters this year will try to make it a 7-point game.
That was a confidence builder for Morris, making that drive all the way down the field.
It's a 7-point ball game as the Joliet Catholic lead has been cut to 14-7 thanks to some unusual formations and some razzle-dazzle from Dan Darlington's Morris Redskins.
Well, now you know why Dan Darlington has over 200 wins. For him to have the ability to be able to adjust to spread Joliet Catholic out and make them do some things that they're not real comfortable doing.
Thought I was looking at Northwestern again.
Well, it is amazing what coaches can come up with. And that's why Dan Darlington and his program is legendary in the state of Illinois.
Well, remember, they're coming off the only losing season in Dan Darlington's career. They were 4-5, and a lot of people didn't give them the respect. They were picked by some to finish 3rd or 4th in the Suburban Prairie Conference this year.
Well, Dan and his kids had a long winter to think about that season last year at 4-5, and obviously even first losing season in 25 years for Dan Darlington.
The drive went 60 yards in 10 plays. Eric Strait scored on the 2-yard run, and then they got the point after from Dan Poole. It's a 14-7 ball game.
Well, that was a very interesting drive, needless to say. The way they spread them out and they took advantage of certain things, and you can obviously, by the way that was engineered, you can see that they spent a lot of time on that particular formation and those plays that they ran.
So Dan Poole, an all Joliet area kicker as well, will send it sailing through the end zone, and Joliet Catholic will start this next drive at the 20-yard line. The lead for the Hilltoppers trimmed to 14-7.
Well, now the wind again will be a factor for Joliet Catholic. Can the Morris defense stop them, force them to punt, make this a short field where they take the ball over in Joliet Catholic's territory? This was the scenario early on for Morris in their first series and their first drive. Joliet Catholic stopped Morris, forced them to punt into that heavy wind.
Don't forget, coming up right after this game, the battle for the 6A state championship. Richards of Oak Lawn against New Lenox Providence. A couple of undefeated teams. Ought to be a dandy. So Wierzynski's bottled up and tackled for a loss at the 15-yard line, as making the initial hit, the cornerback, Kurt Lowry, who is part of a real family act on this Morris Ball Club, along with his brother Kevin.
Well, that was a great job by Lowry. He's up in the corner here, and because they don't throw the ball, he's able to come up hard and come up from the outside in the corner and squeeze that play in. And then, of course, you see all the penetration here from the defensive lineman. Great pursuit, and that's the way you've got to play against these people.
A loss of 4, 2nd and 14. And not much there for the 5'11" junior fullback Brett Hetman, who in the semifinal game against Rochelle last week had 7 carries for 81 yards on a big day on the ground for that Joliet Catholic attack. And Morris has taken a timeout. Take a look at what Joliet Catholic in the regular season, scoring 34 points a game in the playoffs. Well, a little help from RB there as well. 52 points a game, giving up 12 points a game in the regular season. And you would suspect they'd give up a little more in the postseason, but not much more. It's 16.3 points a game.
Well, you know, the key to this stat right here is this stat right here, because when you can hold people of that kind of scoring, that means that you've been getting good field position. It'd be interesting to see the stats as far as where they're scoring from, and I would imagine and kind of bet that it's probably half the field, because they're forcing people to punt out of their own end zone or their own red zone, and they're getting the ball at midfield, so consequently they can make those kind of that kind of yards and that kind of scoring. They just pound on you.
Well, Dan Sharp now is talking it over on his sidelines. He's finishing his 5th year, a 55-10 record at Joliet Catholic. Was a 7-year assistant to Gordy Gillespie at Joliet Catholic, and also assisted Gillespie at the College of St. Francis for 7 years.
Well, Gillespie is on the sideline.
Yep.
And has been throughout the season. He's kind of a second father to Coach Sharp, as he mentioned.
Morris called the timeout because this is 3rd and 12. Joliet Catholic looking for its third down conversion. Gruber pulled down from behind at the 25-yard line. The stop made by Doe Valentine, the junior defensive end.
Well, they worked that play to perfection because everybody keys on Zerwinski, and right there, Gruber, you know, has over 1,000 yards himself and 21 touchdowns. And when you flow, what we call fast flow towards Zerwinski, all those big linemen block back, and then all of a sudden that counter comes back with Gruber. And Chris Gruber at 190 pounds is one heck of a running back.
Well, Jack, Morris called another timeout because Joliet Catholic is facing 4th and long and kicking against the wind, and there's still a lot of time left on this clock. 2:25 remaining in the first half, and this could be a very key turn of events here for Morris. If they can get a short punt against the wind from Joliet Catholic, getting good field position, they got a chance to get right back even in this ball game.
Well, you can't take those timeouts into the halftime room with you, so you want to use them in critical situations here, and that was a great call. Force them to punt into the wind, get good field position, and leave enough time on the clock for yourself to possibly punch one in.
4th down, and with 4th and 6, they're gonna kick it away,
and Morris knew it.
Close to midfield is Ryan Croce. And good field position for Morris. The punt 32 yards and a return of 7. And Ryan Croce, who has turned in some big plays offensively and defensively for this Morris team in the playoff series, including his 75-yard interception return for a touchdown to seal that win over Metamora. So he got the ball to the 50, and it's 1st down now for Morris. And another spread offense with just the center and a guard directly in front of Benji Kennedy. Again, a high snap and a shovel pass. And Brandon Nowinski to the 46-yard line.
Well, they have a whole series of plays out of this formation, as you can well see. And when you use the shovel pass, you're doing some practice time, because there's a lot of timing involved in this.
When you have an offense like this, shouldn't you have a calliope in your band?
Well, if I knew what that was, I could tell you.
A little there you go. It's a little razzle-dazzle time.
I didn't spend that much time in the music room.
I actually got a big word over on the Fenwick guy. I love it.
But I want you to spell it.
Forget that. Here's Kennedy. Nowinski, it's almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Anthony Jutras, a 6'2" senior cornerback, as that ball intended for Nowinski at about the 25-yard line.
Excellent coverage right there by Anthony Jutras, 6'2", 180 pounds. And the ball just hung up a little too long. Joliet has actually done a nice job now defensing that after that first time out. And I'm sure that they had seen this before looking at the tapes. So they just had to kind of touch up a few things.
Well, we have continued to see that lonesome polecat offense. I'm sure the Joliet Catholic defensive coordinator probably has another word. Here it comes. If it's a polecat, it does sting. Again, out of the lonesome polecat. Kennedy completes the pass to Kevin Lowry, and he's to the 25-yard line, and a first down for Morris.
That's what we talked about before. That's actually an option play to throw or run, depending on what the corner does on that side of the field. Now he is going to sprint out to his right. There's a receiver at the top and one cornerback that you can't see right now, and he's reading him to see. He comes up, so he drops the ball. The receiver does an out, and there he is right now making a nice catch.
Jake Jaworski saving the possible touchdown there. Now they'll do the lonesome polecat to the other side of the field.
They're doing a cover two, which we call their man under, and they're 2 deep on the top, and it's man under.
Caught by Nowinski. Out of bounds inside the 5 at the 2-yard line.
That's a great idea. Gives you a great idea of Benji Kennedy's athleticism for a quarterback sprinting to his left and throw the ball on the money. This is a difficult move for a quarterback that's right-handed to come out, sprinting out to his left, and he's getting pressure. He's getting pressure right here, and you can see right here. It's just kind of a flood route, dumps it out, turns his shoulder. He gets the ball and goes up the sideline and gets bounced out on the 2-yard line.
First and goal, Eric Strait.
Ooh,
it's close.
Yep,
touchdown. Strait with his second touchdown of the game. And Morris is an extra point away from tying it up. Dan Darlington reaching into that deep bag of tricks, and it's been obvious the lonesome polecat formation has gotten them right back in this football game.
Well, you know, it's interesting. All year long, preseason, the whole Joliet Catholic has been talked about by every newspaper, every TV station. You didn't hear much about Morris. So now all of a sudden Morris is saying, hey, let's have a little respect for our program, which is a great program, and they're right here in the ball game.
Very similar to '89 in their game against Oaklawn Richards. Dan Poole trying to tie it up. We've got a brand new football game with just under a minute to go in the first half, as Morris has rallied from 14 down and has tied Joliet Catholic at 14-14. As a defensive coach, Jack, take a look again at the touchdown, but talk about having to come up with a defense on the fly against this unusual formation Morris has been running.
Well, Joliet Catholic's going to have a real interesting time at halftime. They're going to use up all their time and probably more to diagram this. Now, this is just strictly power. And he's got 2 lead blockers right there, and he just goes in, finds the seam, lowers the shoulder, and at 210 pounds can get in there. There's the goal line. And kind of crooked there because that's where he got in. But they're going to have to do something because this really plays into Benji Kennedy's abilities here, being able to spread the defense out. And we saw in the first quarter that Morris pounding the ball against Joliet Catholic was having a real tough time. Now they're spreading the field, and you know what? Hey, they're going to come back. We might see this the entire second half.
That scoring drive for Dan Darlington's Redskins, 51 yards, 5 plays, just over a minute 18. Dan Darlington said, hey, kind of like the offense Bob Blackman used to run back when he was an undergrad here in Champaign, and that shows the versatility that this Morris team has got to be able to come out and show something they haven't shown really all year against a very good Joliet Catholic team, as the kick from Poole goes through the end zone, and Joliet Catholic will have a chance to take the lead here before halftime, and they'll start it from the 20.
When you get into big games like this, the coaching points that are made that are key factors is let's get into the fourth quarter close. That is a key factor. If you can hang in with these people and get into the fourth quarter, you got a chance. You know, some of these games over the years, there's been some early blowouts in the first half, and nothing comes back in the second half. The fourth quarter is key if you can hang tough, especially with 2 great teams like this.
Let's see how the Hilltoppers answer. Zwierzinski hit at the line, and he has great power because he was stopped for no gain, and he was able to get one, maybe two, just on sheer power and determination and leg drive.
Well, Morris has really stepped it up since that actually the first 3 series that Joliet Catholic has. They've played excellent defense, which is a compliment to Dan Darlington and his staff. They're not at all intimidated by Joliet Catholic. And, you know, over the years, Joliet Catholic has been a very intimidating program for most of the teams they've played against.
Joliet Catholic 40-1 over the last 3 years, looking for 3 straight championships. And right tackle Steve Douglas left early, and that'll cost Joliet Catholic 5 yards. They'll be penalized for the 3rd time in this football game.
That's an incredible high school record. It's an incredible record for anything. They normally think of that as a basketball record. There's a shot of Gordy Gillespie right there, standing next to Coach Sharp. Gordy Gillespie is the one that started the legendary Joliet Catholic program to get it to the point where it's at now.
Now assisting his son as the head coach up at Ripon College, up in Wisconsin.
They're going to just down the ball here and let the clock run out.
They're just going to let the clock run out. And at the end of 1 half, nothing's been determined other than we have 2 very evenly matched football teams doing it in 2 completely different styles of play. A 14-14 tie at the half of the 5A championship game. And so far, Jack, this game has lived up completely to its advanced billing. Now let's see. The half might not yet be over. They're calling Morris back out to the field.
They'll just down it again.
They'll just down it again, exactly. But
this kind of gives you an idea of the professionalism of these officials. Chuck Graber has a great crew here, and these guys, you know, it's a half a second or just a 1/10 of a second, and they're doing their job, and they do a great job. People don't understand, you know, great games like this, the background is the officials doing a great job to let the kids play and make the big calls.
I think what the official said was by going down to the knee, there was still time left on the clock.
Right.
Because there is actually a horn on the scoreboard that had not sounded. Let's go down to the field and listen to one of the coaches.
All right, we are with Dan Sharp, the head coach of Joliet Catholic. First half, you staked yourself to a quick 2-touchdown lead, but they've spread the field on you now on the offense side and throw some wrinkles at you.
Well, they're running the old lonesome polecat, Tiger Ellison football out here, and we got to make some quick adjustments at halftime on how we're going to defend that. They get you spread all over and allow their good athlete, their quarterback Kennedy, to make plays, and they got some speed out there that we don't match up real well with, so we're really going to have to make some adjustments at half here.
I guess that's their advantage, is they try to take advantage of Kennedy's athleticism on that wide open offense.
Exactly, and we got to also figure out a way how we're going to block this defense. They're stunting, they're shifting their defense in the last second, and we got to get a little bit patient on the offensive side as well.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck in the second half. That's the head coach of Joliet Catholic, Dan Sharp. 14-14. The game is living up to its billing, right, Tom?
Indeed, Kurt. Lonesome Polecat is not a new country band. It's something that's going to be discussed and discussed more in the Joliet Catholic locker room at halftime. We're at halftime of the 5A championship game. We're all tied 14-14. As our coverage, this is the first of 4 state championship games coming your way from Memorial Stadium. Back after this from your local stations.
All right, we are at halftime of the Class 5A state championship. It has indeed lived up to its billing. It's Morris 14 and Joliet Catholic Academy 14. Second half action will come your way shortly, but first it's halftime, and we've got the Morris principal, Greg Eaton, who's with us. And I know we were talking that, you know, with these schools only being 18 or so miles apart, you've got family and cousins and uncles on both sides, and as you well know, you've got student body that have played football with one another in JFL, and now they're playing against one another today.
It really is. We have one of our families, the Nowinski family. There's 2 cousins are playing against here each other, so they're both on the field, and I guess yesterday they had a big argument at Thanksgiving, so it was a big. So again, we're just 18 miles apart, and there's just a lot of friends and neighbors, and it's just we've been going at it for several years. So we hope this year is our turn to finally get them.
Does that make for a more intriguing championship game, that you go through the entire playoffs and you're playing your neighbor for the state title?
Well, I know this will be a big game. That we've had 2 close games with them in the past, and we hope this year, as we finally get a chance to come back, hope we get at least 1 more point than they do when the bell rings at the end.
Well, I know football is close to your heart because you served on Coach Darlington's staff back in the late 70s and early 80s when you won a state championship back in 1980.
Right, I was in 79 when we got second place, and in 80 when we beat Harrisburg. I was one of the coaches, and coached along with Dan, and so it's been a great ride.
I guess it's kind of nice when the principal knows what's going on, that you know what the playbook entails because you've been there before, right?
It really does. I offer him plays every day. And I went down to his office. We used to run this spread offense a long time ago, but I offered a couple of plays for him. I thought might help him out.
Yeah, I guess that was my next question. Does the principal every now and again slip a little note to Coach Darlington and say, why don't you try this on Friday night?
Yeah, do you remember that President Nixon used to do that to the Washington Redskins? So I thought, well, I can do that privilege. Every now and then I do ask Dan. I said, you might want to try this. So I don't know if he listens or not, but we have a good time. We're good friends.
How exciting is it in Morris? Obviously, you've got a rich football tradition. You've won a couple of state championships, and I'm guessing that the student body and the faculty and the staff and everybody gets excited when you can play for a state title.
We sure do. We just had we have a girls bowling team that's in a tournament today. They're wearing football jerseys to their bowling tournament. We had locker decoration. You can look at the size of the crowd we have here. All the faculty wore maroon and gold, and all the students did on Wednesday. So it's just been a great time.
Well, thanks for the chat, and good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you. We just get one more point than Joliet Catholic.
All right, you're welcome, Greg. We've got Principal Nadeau going to come in here real fast here. We got time for a quick interview.
This is our president, Sister Faith.
Oh, great. Sister Faith is also with us. It's nice to meet you. It's pretty exciting the first half, don't you agree?
Yeah, I wish it had stayed at where it was at the quarter. Good grief, but yeah, it is too exciting.
I've got to ask you, we've been laughing and having all these great stories about aunts and uncles and cousins and neighbors that grew up together that are now on opposite sides of the fence in this championship game. But that's what happens when your schools are only 20 or so miles apart, huh?
You got it. In fact, I came down 47 because I live in Plano, and I came down right dead middle of their caravan with my little JCA flags flapping around, and I'm in the middle of their caravan.
Is there anybody along Interstate 80 or 47 today that isn't at this ball game?
There better not be. They better all be here.
What's it been like this week at Joliet Catholic? Obviously, you guys have a rich football tradition. You almost expected to be down here, but I'm sure that it never gets old when you're getting ready for a state championship football game.
Well, one of the things Coach Sharp always refers to is business as usual, and I would say that was pretty much the tone. Kids were calm, relaxed, and very much focused.
And the student body, is it hard to keep everybody focused on schoolwork on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of Thanksgiving week when they're thinking about football?
Not really. I mean, it's amazing. Teachers are good. They keep everybody in tow because as the coaches always say, it's the game that we're looking at, and so they have to worry about the plays. And so we keep on school and doing our thing.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for the visit. It's 14-14, so it's a pretty good game, and we expect a good second half too, huh?
Oh, you're darn right.
And thank you. University of Illinois has been fabulous. I mean, the way they take care of us all the way through the week, there's just, I can't even talk. There's just no words to express that. They've been really wonderful, and whoever is in charge of that should really be complimented because it's been super.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for the visit. Okay, 14-14 halftime. We'll step away for a local break and be back with more of halftime of the state 5A championship game. Stay tuned. All right, it is halftime of the Class 5A state championship game. Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers 14 and the Morris Redskins also 14. And we heard from both principals, both front offices, if you will. And now we're going to hear from the cheerleading squads. We've got the Joliet Catholic cheerleading squad with us. You guys never get tired of coming down to state championship games, do you? I mean, 12 times. Most schools would just like to have one, but your school's going for a 10th state championship. But is it fun coming down and cheering in front of all these people at Memorial Stadium?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to cheer for us. I'm going to back out, and you guys do your favorite one.
We are JC. 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 We are.
All right. Good going. Thank you, gals. Congratulations on getting this far. We're going to bring in your competition here, the Morris Redskins cheerleading squad. If you guys just want to exit stage left, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, Morris. Come on in here. By the way, do you gals know any of those gals? I know your schools are only like 18 miles apart. Do you know the other cheerleaders at all?
No.
All right, we like it that way. Go ahead, give us your favorite cheer.
Redskins, yes. R-E. Yes, yes. N-N. Redskins, yes. R-E. Yes, yes. N-N. Redskins,
Nicely done, ladies. Very well done. 13-0. It's been fun cheering for this team, hasn't it?
Yes.
One quick prediction. What's going to happen in the second half?
I think we're definitely, well I know our boys, yeah, they're definitely going to pull ahead. I know they're in the locker room right now getting all pumped up, and they'll come out ahead. 36-21 our win.
36-21. We'll write it down. Thank you, ladies, for coming over and giving us a visit.
And welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Champaign as we're getting ready for the second half of this championship game for Class 5A. A dead even ball game. Joliet Catholic and Morris all even up at 14 apiece. Let's take a look. At first it looked like it was going to be all Joliet Catholic as they wind up scoring on their first play from scrimmage as this is the second touchdown, a touchdown pass to Craig Kaloje, to Mike Kaloje, I should say. He just went up and got it, and that made it a 14-0 ball game. And then this is the touchdown by Zwierzinski on their very first play from scrimmage. They got him reversed, but you still see the same effect. It's 14-0 as he went a total of 44 yards on that first snap of the ball for Joliet Catholic. But then Morris came back, went 61 yards in 10 plays. Eric Strait slicing through on the 2-yard touchdown run. Dan Poole's kick made it 14-7. Then after getting downfield quickly with the lonesome Polecat offense, Eric Strait again with the 2-yard dive through the right side. Dan Poole's kick tied it up at 14. Taking a look at the statistics, Jack, at halftime, and the numbers are pretty even.
Well, that time of possession changed because Morris was up by about 6 or 7 minutes, so it obviously got a little closer. But aside from those stats that are very, very close, what I think is interesting about the first half is, aside from that first touchdown by Joliet Catholic, which was their regular type of offense, the entire first half was a game of unique plays, trick plays by Joliet Catholic in their second touchdown, those type of things. And, of course, the polecat formation by Morris for two teams that play very fundamental football. They're kind of spreading things out.
All right, Kurt Pegler's got Morris coach Dan Darlington.
All right, thank you, Tom. Yeah, Dan Darlington, the head coach of the Morris Redskins. Boy, a great second quarter. You've gone deep into your playbook, and you found a way to score on that Joliet Catholic defense.
Yeah, Kurt, we knew what we could do. We just had to get out of that win quarter, and you know, I think we took their best shot early and showed that we can hang in there with them. And now we got to come out and play well second half, just like we did in that second quarter.
I guess that proves that you got character on your team. You're down a couple of touchdowns, you come back and tie the game, and now the state championship comes down to the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah, that's what I told the team inside. It comes down to 2 quarters, and not 11 games or 13 games, just 2 quarters now to be state champs, and they're going to give us everything they got. I know they will.
Thanks for the chat. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Dan Darlington, who's Morris Redskins, scored 14 second quarter points and have tied this game at 14. Tom?
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. This is the first of 4 state championships today. Coming up, of course, we will have the Class 6A battle. Following that, I'll be back with Jim Covert for the Class 7A battle between Prospect and Edwardsville. And then, Jack, you got a little appointment coming up tonight in the Class 8A championship.
Well, I'll be slipping into the locker room to change from a coat and tie into my coaching garb for the 8A championship game tonight.
Take off the makeup before you go into the locker room now. Let's take a timeout here. We'll be back with the second half. We're all tied for the 5A title. Now this from your local stations on the IHSA TV network. We are moments away from the start of the second half in this battle for the 5A state championship with Joliet Catholic Academy and Morris High School all tied up at 14-14. Let's learn a little bit more about these two programs. First of all, Joliet Catholic Academy, located obviously in Joliet and Will County in the Catholic League, an enrollment of 865. And there you see the school president and the principal, which we saw Sister Faith and Principal Mike Nadeau interviewed by Kurt Pegler just a little while ago. They're 18 miles away from Morris, Illinois, right there on US 40, Illinois Highway 47, right in Morris, Illinois. Grundy Carney in the Suburban Prairie Conference Red Division, an enrollment of 977. Steve Fannin, the superintendent. Greg Eaton, the principal. Two teams that are very, very familiar, meeting in the playoffs for the third time, but for the first time in the state championship. And they have not forgotten the 99 quarterfinal round game in Morris against Joliet Catholic. Joliet Catholic won 16-14. Morris had a kick at the final gun, sailed just wide. And they've been thinking about that in preparation for this game here today as Dan Poole will now kick against the wind to Jake Jaworski and Bobby Wilkinson.
Good kick.
Not bad against the wind. Bobby Wilkinson has it out over the 20 and across the 25-yard line. A 14-yard return for Wilkinson, and it will be Joliet Catholic Academy ball, 1st and 10.
Now the weather's cleared up a little bit. It's not raining or misting any longer, but that wind is still a major factor. We probably won't see any major change in what Joliet Catholic does with the wind, but certainly Morris in their polecat offense will have to adjust going into the wind because it'll be a big factor as far as throwing the ball.
Craig Tomasino, 24-1 as a quarterback, sets him up at the 26-yard line. He fakes to Gruber, and he's putting it up with the wind. It is intercepted, incomplete, in and out of the hands of the defender Brandon Nowinski. Well, they get the wind of their back, and they decide to put it up, Jack.
Well, they wanted to make me look bad by saying they're not going to change their offense, but just misdirection, hoping to draw up the corners up here. But this was a great job by the free safety coming right in here to make the play. That's an outstanding high school play. He thought he had the pick because he would have had clear sailing down the sideline.
Nowinski broke on the ball very, very well. A 5'10" senior. So it brings up 2nd and 10. Out of that wing T offense, here's J.R. Zwerzinski, and he rambles up to the 36-yard line.
That's their bread and butter running play, running in behind Ryan Cox, the right guard, at 6'1", 210-pound senior. They pull him. Everybody blocks back, and he leads up the hole, and you got a 230-pounder coming in behind him. Yeah, that's a big play.
Zwerzinski is being drafted by, or being recruited by, different colleges for different things.
But that term you use, drafted, that shows you his size and speed at, 6'3", 230 pounds. He could be drafted someday also and be playing on Sunday.
They stretch out the chains. And just shy of the first down is Joliet Catholic Academy. The wind, we have been told now, is gusting up as high as 50 miles an hour.
I should have used that mousse on my hair, but I had a nicer day.
The antlers gave it away.
Yes.
So 3rd and short. There you take a look at the wind gusting out of the southwest here at Memorial Stadium. 3rd and short. And boy, the mistakes made in the offensive line. Mike Zanelli, the left guard, came out of his stance early. 4 penalties. Morris has not been penalized today, and all 4 penalties in the game have been against Morris, 3 of them for the offensive line.
Well, again, big game, but they're trying to catch him on a different count. There's really, we talk about in the coaching ranks, we talk about mental discipline, and that's what we're talking about right there. A little anxious by Mike Zanelli, the 6'2", 240-pound guard, wanting to get off the ball. The play was going to be run behind him. Now they're 5 back.
Yeah, go from 3rd and inches now to 3rd and 6. Zwerzinski's got a big hole.
Bye-bye.
He may go all the way. He's on his way to a 70-yard touchdown. Another big scoring play for J.R. Zwerzinski.
It's almost like we're rewinding the replay from the first quarter on that very first play from scrimmage. Same play. And again, this is, bread and butter plays for Joliet Catholic. Zwerzinski running in behind Ryan Cox. They block down. We'll see blocking inside here. Here comes Cox leading up. Kicking out by the fullback, and here he goes down the sideline. I don't have enough room right here. Good move inside, good block down the sideline. If you can make view of that, great play.
Bobby Wilkinson also with a key downfield block to make sure that JR was going to go all the way. The point after now from Craig Tomasino. And it is good. Tomasino, 25 of 32 on the year coming into the game, and Joliet Catholic is back in front, leading by 7 as we hear from our network sponsors on the IHSA TV network. Joliet Catholic going 74 yards, 70 of them on the running play by Zwerzinski that brought him the touchdown. The drive took all of 1:07. You don't normally think of an offensive, a ground-gaining type of a team being a quick-scoring team, but that's been Joliet Catholic so far today, Jack.
Well, you know, they have strength and confidence in their running game, and, you know, if it's anything under 15 yards, they feel as if they can pick it up because they're just so strong up front, and they have such great backs with Gruber and Zerwinski that, you know, their stats show over the years that they can pick up that kind of yardage.
Craig Tomasino's kick. And Eric Strait never saw it. It went right by him. He lost it in the sun.
Isn't it incredible? We had driving rain before, and now he lost it in the sun.
Welcome to the IHSA Championship weekend, where you can get any kind of weather any time of the day.
First half rain, second half sun, polecat first half. All kinds of crazy things going on. It's fun football.
Look at him. He's shading his eyes. He can't see it. And it just went right over his shoulder. Even had it touched him, it would have gone out to the 20-yard line because the momentum of the kick is what would have sent it into the end zone for the touchback.
Let's see the adjustments here. It'll be interesting to see.
Again, out of the lonesome polecat, Joliet Catholic has spread out its defense a little bit more. They've got 2 men now right there on center. In fact, they're rushing 2. And there's Kennedy eluding the rush. And it's incomplete. Boy, he had Kevin Lowry wide open, but he was looking for Eric Strait farther downfield.
Well, interesting. That's really the only adjustment they made on the run because they still have the same secondary. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at man coverage under here, and here's 2 safeties in the back. They're playing zone. These guys are covered. Here's the 2 keys right here. Coming in, they want to contain him from here and from here as far as run. Now, as we look at this, if he had turned up and beat these guys, he has got a long way to run. He probably should have ran rather than throw.
But that's as much pressure as Kennedy has felt in that formation so far. One of the adjustments Joliet Catholic made at halftime. Now on 2nd and 10. And Kennedy's bottled up to the 21-yard line. He gains only a yard on the play. So give Joliet Catholic's defense a lot of credit. They're making the adjustments and successfully.
Well, when he runs that play towards the lineman where he has his lineman lined up, he's actually running into more bodies over there because Joliet Catholic has more people over there. He's better off staying in the middle of the field to running towards the wide receivers because now you have everybody spread out and he has running lanes.
They rule it no gain. It's 3rd and 10 from the Morris 20. He's looking into the sun. He's looking into the teeth of a 30 to 40 mile an hour wind. Ryan Kroos goes in motion as Kennedy.
Wide open.
And he's got a man open, and it's caught out of bounds on the near sidelines. Caught by Brendan Haas, the 2nd string defensive end, a 6'2 senior.
He's given Joliet Catholic an awful lot to adjust to on the fly. All of a sudden they came out with no backs and throw the ball.
Down to the sidelines, Kurt Pegler.
All right, Tom and Jack, I just want to underscore how completely different the conditions are right now than they were at kickoff. Now, the wind is still going out of the south-southwest, but remember at kickoff there was rain, there was drizzle. Now the sun is out. It's a completely different, it's almost like 2 different halves and 2 different games as far as the conditions are concerned, guys.
10 lotion down there, I hope. It is 1st and 10 at the 37 after the gain of 17 yards. Kennedy with time, but has to get rid of it in a hurry because he was getting pressure from Matt Matichek.
Well, that's the key for Matt Matichek. He has 25 sacks during the regular season. One of the smaller linemen at 6 foot, 200 pounds, and he comes off the edge, and he's got great quickness, and that's a big play for them.
It'll set up a 2nd and 10 now for Morris. And it'll be interesting now as Morris goes to a little more conventional lineup, but still a spread with 5 wideouts. An empty backfield except for the quarterback Kennedy in the shotgun. Nowinski's in motion.
Screen.
Middle screen. And up and across the midfield, strike Brandon Nowinski. A gain of 15 yards on the play and another 1st down for Morris.
I don't want to be redundant, but Dan Darlington has really done a great job with this. What they're doing is you'll see him drop, and then they release them, and they all come down the field right in here, and he comes right in behind them, and all of a sudden they start doing their thing as far as blocking downfield. He is really spreading them out, creating running lanes for his backs, And Dan has done a great job with his game plan.
Plus Nowinski, he missed the last 3 quarters of the quarterfinal game against Triad with a shoulder injury. So he's playing with a shoulder that's not quite 100%. Again, the spread offense with 5 wideouts for Kennedy.
Too much time.
And they may have just picked up Morris, their first penalty of the football game.
Well, now, normally in the regular season games, it's tough.
Dead ball foul. Pete, first down.
Delay of the game. Now, see, in normal games, you don't have the clock. And here, we have a clock in both end zones for the quarterbacks to see. They're probably not used to it. It ran down, and of course, when you don't see that for your first 13 games, it gets a little tough to be looking for that in your 14th.
It's an NCAA requirement, but not an IHSA requirement. And you got to know exactly where to look when you're not familiar with the surroundings. 1st and 15 now for the Redskins of Morris. Looked like they were setting up a screen, but now Kennedy scrambling for his life. And he is back up to the original line of scrimmage for the set of downs, back up to the Joliet 49-yard line, and he showed great running ability.
Well, we talked about this in the open, his athleticism, and he's able to run the ball and throw the ball. He ran for 500 yards, and he threw for 900. And what he does right here is they're running him off. We're getting great pressure off the edge, and this is the key. He's able to get outside, and now his athleticism is created. Makes a great move right in here, and that's just being a great athlete, being able to do that.
2nd and 10 from the Joliet 48-yard line. Ryan Cross goes in motion as Kennedy rolls to the right side, and it's knocked down at the 40-yard line, broken up on the play by Joliet Catholic's defender Jake Stefanski.
That was a great play. They got an extra defensive back in there, and he's the man because they're going with a spread set with an empty backfield, which means there's only one back here, and there's 2 receivers over here. There's 3 down at the bottom of the screen. They're spreading out the secondary. That's pretty good pressure. But that's a great play right there, coming into the screen, coming in the under route. The pressure now is on Joliet Catholic because they're taking away the strength, which is their defensive line, and they're putting the pressure on the linebackers in the secondary.
A 3rd and 10.
They're spreading them out, and they're confused.
And Morris has done a good job converting these long 3rd down situations. He avoids Matichak and throws, caught out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Brendan Haas with another huge reception.
You know, huge reception, but an incredible throw. He was throwing off balance, a right-handed quarterback going, scrambling under pressure to his left, throwing across his body, and that was a great throw, putting it right on the money. You can see right here, they got all those linemen over here. This is the key, his scrambling ability. He breaks back here, and he comes up. Now watch this play going away, drifting away, throwing it sidearm, putting it right on the money. What a great athletic throw.
Needed 10, got 11, and it's 1st down for Morris at the Joliet Catholic 36.
Now with the back next to him, you have always the option here of a draw or a shuffle pass. There's a draw.
A little inside handoff right there, going to Eric Strait, and he is stopped for a gain of just a yard at the 35-yard line. Among those in there defensively, Brad Singh for the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers. Benji Kennedy, transferred from Pontiac High School, a team that Morris played during the regular season.
You know the happiest thing for Dan Darlington? Benji's only a junior.
Only a junior. 2nd and 9.
Option.
Now Eric Strait. And off that pitch, he was already outside, and he's down to the 26-yard line, where he picked up just about 9 more yards. Matichak over on the tackle, along with Brad Singh.
They've got a lot of things that they're running out of this spread offense, and that was the option where they're putting a lot of pressure again on the perimeter and secondary of Joliet Catholic. They're taking away the strength of Joliet Catholic defense, which is their defensive line.
When you spread out that defense, it gives each defender so much more territory to be responsible for.
Well, and you know, that's well and good, but you got to have an athlete back there that can make it happen, and Benji Kennedy certainly is that athlete. Another close one.
It's a 1st down for the Redskins And they keep the drive alive as this set of downs now starts from the Hilltopper 26-yard line.
Well, the other part of this drive is they're spreading it out, but they're also keeping that clock.
Down on the sidelines, Kurt Pegler.
All right, Tom and Jack, you know, Joliet Catholic usually sees about everything that everybody can throw at them. They've really not seen this, but you do go back a couple of weeks when they beat Riverside Brookfield in a playoff game 56-50. Tim Braxick, the Riverside Brookfield quarterback, did have 5 receivers. They did spread it out, so they have seen something similar, just not quite like this, what Morris is throwing at them.
Joliet Catholic gave up over 500 yards of offense as Kennedy's keeping it. And he is brought down at the 24-yard line, the strong safety, Chris Minerich, who, of course, was the hero for Joliet Catholic, batting away the pass in the end zone on the last play of that 56-50 quarterfinal win over Riverside Brookfield. You know, again, Kurt was right. They saw a wide-open offense in RB, and RB did roll up the points. In fact, Academy had a 35-14 lead in that game.
Well, it's interesting, though. The difference is that Morris wants to spread you out and really wants to run the ball. Riverside Brookfield spread you out and really wanted to throw the ball. So, I mean, formations play a part, but it's what you want to do out of those formations that is the difference.
Run was not in Otto Siemens' vocabulary, was it? This is the 12th play of this drive and a timeout called by the Redskins of Morris. In fact, you know, that offense Otto Siemens created just especially for a playoff opportunity against Joliet Catholic. He had that offense built 2 years ahead of time, waiting for that quarterfinal game.
Well, I've known Otto for years, and he actually started developing that in 1981.
Really?
He started doing that. Of course, that was the time when Mike White was down here with the Illini and the West Coast offense throwing the ball, and Otto picked up on that, and he ran it for years. I mean, this wasn't something that he just wanted to do to try and get by Joliet Catholic. He had done it for years, Tom, and obviously this year he had great athletes to make it really look good.
Coming up in the Class 6A championships, a pair of undefeated teams. Richards of Oak Lawn at 13-0 against Providence Catholic out of New Lenox. Both teams 13-0. 2 veteran coaches, Gary Corhonen, Matt Simpner. A lot of tradition in that game.
This is a day where you just have somebody pack a lunch for you by the Lazy Boy, and you just make sure you've got a couple TVs on and you don't miss anything. It's a great day for high school football.
If you've been following IHSA playoffs now for 28 years, and that's hard to believe. Remember when that all first began. You know some of these legendary names you are seeing on the field of Memorial Stadium today. It's legendary programs, legendary coaches. Just a great tradition-rich afternoon here in Champaign. It is 2nd and 7 for Morris from the Joliet Catholic 23-yard line. Again, the 12th play of this drive is Kennedy rolling out, and it's caught by Kevin Lowry down to the 10-yard line. A gain of 13 on the play. Kevin Lowry, he and his brother Kurt, a real family affair. We mentioned their dad Keith, an assistant coach, and both those guys, Kevin and Kurt, were ball boys on the 94 sidelines in the title game.
Well, again, he's sprinting out to get away from this front, and he's got a guy coming across the field right up in here. He gets over the top of the linebackers and underneath the secondary to make that play, and that's what you have to do.
The Redskins now with 12 first downs to 6 for the Hilltoppers.
Option.
Eric Strait towards the goal line, in for the touchdown. A penalty marker is down back at the 8-yard line.
Could be holding on the wide receiver. Oh, chop block. Can't block below the waist in high school football outside the tackle zone.
So the touchdown will be taken off the board.
Now, contrary to college and pro football, in high school you cannot block below the waist unless you are a lineman within from tackle to tackle and 3 yards on either side of the line of scrimmage.
Legal block below the waist, gets the offense, it'll be first down.
They spot the ball back at the 23-yard line.
This is the type of game time that taking a first down away is one thing by penalty, but taking away a touchdown by penalty is just very, very dramatic.
It's a first down play from the 23-yard line. Kennedy going to the short side of the field, and he just decided to go ahead and take the losses. Closing in on him were 3 Hilltoppers, including Matichak along with Brad Singh, and also closing in strong was Nick Kinsella.
Well, that play might have been a sack, but Minrich and Jukowski and Jaturis and Buchanan made the play. The secondary for Joliet Catholic, they had the receivers blanketed, and that was a smart play by Kennedy. The field is shortened now, you know, so that the back of the end zone is actually a defender, which is helping Joliet Catholic because they know they can't beat them real deep.
It is 2nd and goal from the 30-yard line. And Kennedy sets him out in a spread formation with 4 wideouts. Eric Strait, the running back, just to Kennedy's left. And Kennedy's dropped for a loss by Matichak back at the 45-yard line.
Now Joliet Catholic was comfortable in that defense because that was their regular defense. They played zone in the background and they played man under. But here he gets flushed this way. The pressure that's coming from these linemen right here, and that's the whole difference. And again, that's what's been going on for Joliet Catholic.
Matichak had 25 tackles behind the line of scrimmage for the Joliet Catholic defense this year. It was a loss of 13 back to the 43-yard line, and it's 3rd and goal from there.
See, Joliet Catholic now is in their comfort zone because of this way they can run this defense.
Eric Strait just on a little inside draw, spun down at the 39-yard line by Mike Kalaje. When Kalaje tackles you, the sun gets blotted out.
Well, Kalaje did a great job there because he fought off the block and still made the play, and that is a tribute to what his reactions are. You can see right over in the corner here, they're trying to trap him. He's coming right in there. That right there was a great play for a big guy, 6'8", 295 pounds. Wow, he can move. A lot of times when recruiters look at him, they say, well, he's big, but how are his feet? He's got quick feet. He does a great job.
So now it's 4th and goal from the Joliet Catholic 39 as the Redskins are going to go ahead and try to nail one in the corner.
Oh!
Penalty marker is down as Tischer is roughed up. They down the ball at the 16-yard line, but that's going to be a big, big penalty. It may bring an automatic first down.
Big play. Big play.
It's a roughing the kicker, automatic first down. Jack, let's take a look and watch as they try to get the block there on Tischer.
Well, I was kind of surprised. The wind was going to help him. He's coming what we call off the edge right here, and he's coming right in through here. You know what? If you notice the follow through on the leg of the punter, that was a great job of acting. A great job of acting by the punter. And sometimes, you know, officials get fooled.
He saw the rusher come in, and he just hung in the air just a little longer.
But the key to me on that was that the punter was able to follow through with his leg,
right,
which got beyond it. So that kind of told me there was a little acting going on. Spreading them out again.
So it's from the 24 now of Joliet Catholic, first down.
Option.
Eric Strait inside the 15-yard line, and he may have a first down for the Redskins.
Combination on this particular formation, they're spreading them out, and then they're giving them another dose of the option, which really makes it difficult.
Eric Strait coming into the game. He has gone over 1,700 yards now for the season, and with the 2 touchdowns today, now with 23 on the year, and he'd like to pick up number 24 because he had one taken away just a little while ago.
Spreading them out again, Polecat.
They go Lonesome Polecat. Let's come up with a song to go with this formation. Kennedy running for his life. He's got
6.
He's got it. The corner. Yep. He does. Touchdown. He just got away from Brad Singh, who almost had him for a loss on the play. Once he got by Singh, he was able to get the corner for 6.
Well, again, spreading it out. Now he wants to get out here because we can see where everybody is across here. Now what he does, they took the inside lane so he was able to get outside, but you're going to see a key block downfield coming into your screen right up in here where they slowed these defenders down here and kind of walled them off. That was just a great job there getting to the corner.
He just took Jake Jaworski on head, put his head down and was able to get it inside the pylon. And now we're an extra point away for another tie game. Dan Poole Out of the hold of Ryan Cross.
Oh,
it's blocked. And Joliet Catholic hangs on to a 1-point lead.
That was a combination of a low kick. It was a line drive anyway, but excellent penetration by the people up front on Joliet Catholic.
That could be a very significant missed point after before this game is over. Is now a 1-point differential with Joliet Catholic seemingly seeing its lead lost for a second time, coming through with the block point after. Big drive coming up for Joliet Catholic. This will probably be the Hilltoppers' last drive with the wind at their backs.
Well, it's interesting. I think that Morris has shown so much resilience as far as going down and then coming right back and driving down the field. Most teams, you know, against a big, strong powerhouse program like Joliet Catholic would kind of fall underneath, but Morris just keeps coming right back after him.
So Dan Darlington, seeing his team now trailing by a single point with just over 15 minutes of football left in the season, or at least in regulation.
Well, you know, I think it's interesting what he has done here in this game to take advantage of what he has against what Joliet Catholic has. And of course, with 244 wins in his 27-year career, you know that he's an excellent coach just based on what he's doing right here.
Poole kicks it off. Taken by Jaworski. He's got the sidelines, bumped out of bounds at the 35-yard line. He had a lane just for a moment, but it was closed up when he was knocked out of bounds by Louis Farber. 20 yards on the return. So Joliet Catholic will start it out in good shape at the Hilltopper 39 with a first down.
Well, there's no panic in either one of these teams. That's quite obvious. They both have shown great poise. After one scores, the other one just pulls up his britches and marches down the field and scores.
Craig Tomasino sets him down. And the little double inside reverse there. This is Gruber. Gruber's got one man to beat, gets a block from his quarterback. And a great job coming back, Orlando Lemus, who was seemingly taken out of the play on Tomasino's block, but Lemus stayed in the play and saved the touchdown, at least for the time being.
Combination factor on that play. Zerwinski is part of it because the defense goes where he goes. They come this way right here, and then Gruber's coming back, and he's led by number 60, Mike Zanelli, and a good trap block, but right there, number 7, Bobby Wilkinson making a great block. But there goes Chris Gruber. Part of that is Zerwinski, and part of that is an outstanding offensive line. You know, he's had 1,300 yards, and you can see why.
Well, in the postseason, Joliet Catholic is rolling up over 430 yards a game on the ground. They just picked up 49 yards there on that carry by Gruber. J.R. Zawinski trying to get outside. Dives for the corner. He made it. Touchdown. He just got the ball inside the pylon for the score.
6'3" was part of that. 230 pounds didn't have much to do with it. It was the 6'3", those long arms reaching over the pylon, punch it in. And again, he showed his versatility, not only being able to pound it up inside, but right here, he's coming off the edge. And this is great speed, but it's also great blocking downfield that makes the difference. But watch those long arms reaching out right there. Nice play.
So now they're looking for an 8-point lead as Craig Tomasino will try to tack on the point after. And he missed that one.
You know, interesting, he was 25 of 32 on extra points during the season. And what's kind of interesting is he kicked that. The wind didn't have a factor. It was just direction. It wasn't that the wind turned it anyway.
Never really got the instep on it. It kind of went off the front of his foot. And he pushed it off, and it's a 7-point ball game again. Take a look at the scoring drive for Joliet Catholic as they scored in a hurry and regain a 7-point lead. Take a look at this score again.
Well, again, this is the key right in here is this offensive line and him showing great speed and quickness for a big man at 230 pounds. get in the corner, because a lot of people sometimes get caught up inside because of his 230 pounds, thinking he's going to bang it up inside, and then he turns the corner and with that speed.
Of course, don't forget, it was Mike Allstott's record that Zerzwinski,
there you go,
I got it, broke earlier this year. He's the all-time Joliet Catholic leading rusher. Any comparisons between the two?
Well, obviously size is a big factor. Who would have thunk that guys with that kind of size, certainly at the high school level, could have those tremendous stats, because everybody thinks people have to be so fast. But, you know, he's got that quickness that Allstott had, and, of course, part of it is they also have a great offensive line in front of them. Both of them did.
So now, a 7-point ball game once again, with just under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter here in the 5A battle, and this game continues to live up to everything that it was billed to be. Craig Tomasina will kick it. Eric Strait at the 1.
He's got a lane up there.
To the 20. And across the 25 to the 26-yard line, where he was tackled by Joliet Catholic's Jason Midlock. One of the things I have continued to notice in this game, Jack, we've talked about how this Joliet Catholic team can just be a ground-oriented attack, but of their scoring drives, 4 of them, 3 have been a minute or less so far today.
Well, they have that great potential to make the big play, and when you have 2 backs that are that versatile, and they have that kind of breakaway speed, it's not that they're, you know, just 2-3 yards, but they make the big plays also.
23 seconds on that last scoring drive. That came after the 7-minute scoring drive for Morris. Kennedy, a great fake. He's got it. He breaks away, and he's to the 35. Picked up about 8 yards on the play. He was stopped, but he got away.
Well, he's like another running back, obviously, when you have Eric Strait, who everybody concentrates on because of his 1,600 yards. Then Benji Kennedy, who is another great athlete, gives you that versatility.
Benji Kennedy came through with a huge touchdown in the regular season. Batavia had a 10-7 lead over the Redskins, and he came through with the game winner with 6 minutes left to get that victory over Batavia and keep them marching towards another conference championship. They're 14th in their last 16 years.
Wow.
Eric Strait dancing over the 40, breaks free, and he's finally corralled at the 44-yard line as coming up to make the tackle for the Hilltoppers, Chris Basie, the linebacker.
Actually, if Chris Basie hadn't come up and made that play, he might have busted it. The wide receiver missed his block, and that was a potential long run for Strait. But they're moving the ball again, forcing Joliet Catholic to adjust their secondary and their linebackers. They somewhat get confused because of the various formations.
While Joliet Catholic has scored in a quick strike mode today, Morris has really had to work hard on their scoring drives here against the Hilltoppers. A fresh set of downs, 1st and 10. Eric Strait gets the pitch. Works off the lead block from Ryan Cross, and he's into Joliet Catholic territory. Mike Kalaje finally making the stop.
Well, what's interesting is the front 4 for Joliet Catholic doesn't change. You know that's a constant, and this is what Morris is thinking about. If we put those people in position, we know where they're at. Now we want to create gaps between the secondary and the linebacker by spreading them out by formation, and it makes it easier for them to obviously have running lanes.
2nd and 2, a 2nd and short play, and let's see what Dan Darlington does with this. He sends him out on a spread offense, 4 wide, and Strait, the low man in the backfield with Ryan Cross going in motion. Strait getting the call, had a hold, but boy, did it close quickly as he is stopped for a gain of about 3 at the 45-yard line, and closing in quickly was Stefanski to make a solid hit.
That was a big hit right there because it looked like he had a lot of running room and thought he was going to have about a 20-yard gain, and it turns out that he was lucky if he got 2 or 3, and they're going to have to measure again.
And they may have misidentified, thought it was 47. No, that was Ryan Lincoln that made that big solid hit.
Well, Ryan Lincoln has certainly made enough of them all throughout the season with 58 tackles and 42 assists. But you know, the other thing is he's had 11 sacks also. And the good thing about it, Dan Sharp likes, is that Ryan Lincoln's only a junior.
Will it be a 3rd down play? It looks like it's going to be 3rd and a link of a chain or 2. Well, how many of those have we had this afternoon?
A lot of those. Chuck Graber's getting a lot of camera time with all those short yardage plays.
Yeah, has a good agent in the contract. We got to find out who that is.
Yeah.
Late in the third quarter, just 39 seconds remaining in the quarter. And you see in the third down conversions that Morris 50% so far today, but Joliet Catholic 60%.
Well, this could be a 2-down territory because Morris earlier in that first series went for it on their own 30-yard line. So if they don't get it here, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it on fourth.
Morris will regroup as they have not yet whistled the ball ready for play. And they start the clock, which is now under 35 seconds for the third quarter. I think Morris might even take as much time as they can. They'll have to get the play off. 14 seconds on the play clock. This will be their last snap, likely against the wind. Just keeping for the first down is Kennedy. And they get another set of downs. 1st and 10 at the Joliet Catholic 44. With the first down, the clock is stopped, so they'll still likely get another play, maybe. They don't have to snap it because they have not yet set the play clock. And the clock's under 13 seconds. Nope, they're not going to. I would snap it against the wind right now. Nope, that'll be the end of the quarter as the clock will run out. 12 minutes left in the 5A season. A 7-point game between two football titans. Joliet Catholic leads 27-20. Now this from your local stations. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Champaign. Tom Stocker, Jack McInerney with you. 1 quarter left in the battle for the 5A state championship. Joliet Catholic looking for a state record 10th state championship. Morris looking for a 3rd state championship, one in each of 3 different classes, as the Redskins come out in the old lonesome polecat again. Kennedy, the shovel pass to Nowinski. He was slowed up there by Chris Meinerich, and he's still able to fall forward for a couple of more yards after the hit.
Now that's an interesting adjustment right there that we saw. Joliet Catholic has 2 linemen or linebackers that are trying to contain Kennedy, so that opened up the middle for the draw right in here. He shovel passes it right here because he has these 2 contained guys that are coming. The middle is wide open. Well conceived play.
A little reverse angle, and now we're back to live action. 2nd and 3.
He's got him. He's got him.
The catch made by Brendan Haas has made his 3rd huge catch of this football game. A 17-yard gain down just inside the Hilltopper 20.
That's the first time that they made a play towards where the linemen are lined up. What that did is it lulled right over here. It's the first time that they did this. He's a legal receiver right here, and he slides right outside, and they're all looking in this direction, and he throws over the top. See him slide out right down there, and he finds them right in the seam here between the safety and the corner, right in that gray area right in there. Nice throw, nice catch.
First down, Morris from the 20-yard line. Eric Strait just found a nice little seam and just darted down to the 12-yard line. That's what we mentioned earlier. He doesn't have to have a big running lane. He can just kind of slide his way on through.
That was a nice play because the tackle was missed there by the safety coming up.
Cornerback, who's the younger brother of Atlanta Falcons Pro Bowler Ray Buchanan.
Well, Bobby Buchanan, that can be understandable. In an open field, big title game, he misses a tackle against a great back because Bobby Buchanan is only a sophomore.
Yeah. That's a football ahead for him. Eric Strait down to the 7-yard line. The tackle made by Jake Jaworski, the free safety.
Jake doesn't make that tackle, and Straight's in the end zone.
It's a 7-point ball game. As we look again at Eric Strait and what he does so well.
Just a power play off tackle, and he's finding fullbacks leading him up. You can see the fullback right here, and he's just lowering his shoulder right here. Nice tackle by Jake Jaworski, or he's in the end zone.
That was 32, Dove Valentine on that lead block. It's 1st and goal from the 7, and Straight's corralled for no gain. as Galaji, Jim Jadrin, among others. Also Brad Singh, 3 of the 4 on the defensive line for Joliet Catholic in on the stop.
It's tough to run inside against all that beef. And they close it down. Right in here is the plays coming right from there. You can see him right here. They weren't able to get underneath him and drive him back. Big kid like that at 6'8", 292 pounds can make the play.
2nd and goal from the 7.
Option.
Kennedy's keeping, and he's down to the 2-yard line. Dragged down by the linebacker, Chris Jeske.
This puts pressure on the defense because when a team runs option football, you have to be very disciplined because everybody has an assignment. Somebody is assigned to the pitch man, somebody's assigned to the quarterback, and if you're not there or you get blocked, you've got to play, and that's what's happening here.
3rd and goal from 2 yards away for Morris. They trail by 7, just over, as you see in the corner of your screen. 9 minutes remaining in the game.
Full house backfield, their power set.
He is stopped at the 2. First to meet him was Mike Kalaje.
The only thing I would say, I'm up on the booth because I'm not that good a coach, but I just think that I would run the opposite side of where Mike is, where Big Mike is.
You'll be on the sidelines in 8A tonight, but you'll be on the defensive side of the ball.
I didn't want to run towards that big guy. I might run to the other side.
How do you simulate them when you're trying with your scout team?
You put 2 kids and you tape them together.
Or you go to the Brookfield Zoo and borrow a few pachyderms?
That's right.
4th and goal, and Morris is going for it out of a spread formation. Kennedy over to straight. It's on the turf. And it's recovered by Joliet Catholic, the game's first turnover, coming on a 4th and 2 for Morris.
And what a big turnover it is at a key time of the ball game. Actually, it's easy to say from up here, but if Kennedy had turned the ball up inside, they took away straight. But they didn't take away Kennedy, and if he would have turned it up, we would have had a play. This is the tail end of it here. The ball's on the ground. Had Kennedy turned it up, he might have picked up 6, but they tried to take away straight, and they did. Now, can Morris hold him down here?
Now the Morris defense is going to have to bottle up this Joliet Catholic team, which, when it has scored in a hurry. 3 scoring drives so far of 1 minute 8 or less for the Hilltoppers. Here's J.R. Zwerzinski powering his way close to the 10-yard line, a gain of about 5.
Joliet Catholic over the years has always been known for misdirection, and it's very difficult for the linebackers to key on a back or on anybody else when they have that misdirection offense.
You think about the great tradition of Joliet Catholic football, you realize that 2 of their top 8 running backs of all time are in this backfield in Zwerzinski and Gruber. Gruber's 8th, Zwerzinski the all-time Joliet Catholic ground gainer.
Well, that's why they're playing for the state championship.
Zwerzinski slanting and still on his feet, and boy, he's a ton to bring down. He carries the pile all the way up to the 21-yard line, and a first down for Joliet Catholic.
Well, that's their bread and butter play, and Zwerzinski's the bread and Ryan Cox is the butter to that play.
We're going to take a close-up look at J.R. Zwerzinski.
He's going right in here, and he's the bread, but the lineman leading the play right up in here is the butter to that, and that's Ryan Cox and Mike Zanelli, the 2 guards that do a great job pulling for Joliet Catholic's misdirection offense.
Now this is more of a possession drive, I think, that Joliet Catholic is looking for to eat up this clock, as they've got a 7-point lead as Gruber tripped up as he gets across the 20-yard line. That may go for no gain.
Again, same play, only coming back with Gruber to the other side with Zanelli pulling in front of him. The play was designed to go more inside, and Gruber kind of bounced it out. Morris has got a great defense. They've certainly been underrated throughout the regular season, but have come into prominence in the playoffs.
Just over 6.5 minutes remaining. Fullback is Kleeman, the sophomore. And again, that double handoff inside is Zwerzinski getting it from Gruber, and that time Morris stuffs it for no gain, maybe a loss of a yard on the play.
Again, misdirection, give it to Gruber, and then he hands it back to Zwerzinski coming back the other way. Great gang tackling by the Morris defense, and that's what you need to do when you have a 230-pound running back. You'll see him coming back in here, getting the handoff right here, following the guards, coming back inside. But there's one hit. Here comes somebody else, another person. That's what you got to do to stop a great back like Zawinski.
Exactly 6 minutes remaining now in the fourth quarter. Joliet with a 3rd and 10 from its own 21-yard line.
Big play.
Gruber trying to get outside. Doesn't get the yardage for the first down. They needed to get the ball outside the 30. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 28.
And actually, he gained 6 yards. He got outside the perimeter there, the contain, and the kid tripped, or he would have been made the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Ryan Kroos closed in quickly along with Dan Gibbs. It's at the 28. And it's 4th down.
Well, you know, here's where this unusual punting formation of Joliet Catholic comes into effect. But I've got to think they're going to be punting into a very long wind. We'll see if they shift to draw them offside, or they're going to run a play.
4th and short. Zwerzinski.
Oh, no!
Hit by Tischer, but on second effort, did he get the first down?
I'm looking at the officials. I don't think he got the mark.
Tischer made the initial hit.
I think we're going to turn the ball over to Morris.
This is going to be a crucial measurement as they'll bring the chains in from across the way. Well, I thought they were going to punt.
Well, this is a crucial play. I'm going to say they did not get it. Now, I have my eyes checked twice a year.
But Joliet Catholic's got to figure it's 2 yards. We're Joliet Catholic. We should be able to get 2 when we need it. First down by the nose of a football.
I better get my eyes checked 3 times a year. Actually, I look at the mark as the official was coming in from the side initially, and the mark was short. And boy, that was close. That was a real gutsy call.
First down by a matter of inches.
That shows you tremendous confidence, obviously.
Well, it's tough to see. Want to see where the knee went down. We may go back and visit that one. It's 1st and 10 from the 31. Zwerzinski on the counter to the 35-yard line, where he picked up a gain of 4. Now is when Joliet Catholic is going to count on this running game to eat up the yardage and, more importantly, eat up the clock. 4:57 remaining.
Well, you can have a great big back like Zawinski, but right now the key is that offensive line for Joliet Catholic. You know, they average 253 pounds up front, and they just pound on you and pound on you, and they wear you down in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 6. Again, Zwerzinski, this time hands off to Gruber, and he is stopped for a gain of a yard. A lot of Redskins in on the stop. Among the first one in there, the nose tackle, Wayne Bogart, the 5'10 senior. You see him right in the middle of the screen, number 59.
Well, the misdirection is tough. It shows great discipline by Morris's defense, because you try to tell the backside away from Zawinski to stay home, because Gruber will be coming back on the counter and the misdirection, and it takes great discipline because you initially want to go right away with the flow.
As the defender, you're always trained to attack the ball. It's tough sometimes to stay home. 3rd and 5 from the 36. Zwerzinski picking his way through, short of the first down. Short by inches. On the tackle, Brandon Nowinski. Another 4th down call coming up for Dan Sharp and the Hilltoppers.
This one's closer than the last one, so I'm sure he'll bang this one up inside. Morris brings in 2 more defensive linemen and take out 2 defensive backs to try and thwart that giant offensive line of Joliet Catholic.
And while this all goes on, the clock continues to become the Hilltoppers' ally and the Redskins' enemy. 3:10 remaining in the game. The Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic leading by 7. It's 4th and short. Zwerzinski. He was hit. The ball is fumbled and recovered by the Redskins.
I don't think he would have got it had he hung on to the ball. He wouldn't have picked up the first down.
Ryan Kroos comes up with a fumble recovery, but indeed, Jack, I think he was hit short by Tischer.
Well, Joliet Catholic, they're coming here with the big guy right in through here. Now, he lunges right here. There's where he lost the ball. Right there. It's on the ground. And all of a sudden, it's that basted turkey. Everybody's diving for it, trying to get a piece of it.
All-Stater against All-Stater right there.
They had the extra backup in there. It's just pure power coming in behind Ryan Cox. That's
big hit by Tischer. Big hit against Wierzinski.
Wow.
2:58 remaining, and it's from the Joliet Catholic 42. And again, Morris into the lonesome polecat formation. Kennedy lofting it up. Ooh. And threw it beyond Brendan Haas, who has come up with some big receptions today for Morris.
Well, you know, oftentimes for a quarterback, sometimes it is as difficult throwing with the wind as it is throwing into it, because the wind will take the ball on you and let it sail. It's really difficult to have touch on the ball sometimes, especially deep, to get it in. The shorter passes are okay because you're drilling it more, but when you have to put some air under the ball, it makes it a little more difficult because the wind has a factor.
And when that wind whistles through this stadium the way it is, it just tunnels it right up the field from south to north. 2nd and 10. The Redskins of Morris down by 7. Kennedy. A leaping catch, Brandon Nowinski at the 31-yard line, and an apparent first down for Morris.
Great catch right there. He had to go up for the ball, leave himself unprotected to go up and get it. Excellent throw, but it was a better catch than throw.
Nowinski, who had 25 catches on the regular season.
See, right here, this is really tough to be going to your left for a right-handed quarterback, and he's throwing away from his body just as he's being drilled.
And you can see that ball drift with the quarterback's movement as Nowinski was facing his quarterback, drifting off to Nowinski's right. 1st and 10 from the 31. Benji Kennedy.
Oh, mama, he was wide open.
Was Ryan Kroos. Wide open.
Wide open. He's coming underneath the secondary. They're running him off with the wide receivers, and he's coming across the field. He's getting past the linebackers and getting out into that weak side flat, wide open. And again, the wind there was a factor because the wind is a crosswind there, and it kind of carried it a little bit. Ooh, that was a big play.
Bringing up a 2nd and 10 now from the Joliet Catholic 31. Morris needs the end zone. They trail by 7. 2:21 remaining.
Calling an audible. They're changing the play on the line of scrimmage.
As Kennedy looked to the sidelines, now gets the long snap. Kroos fell down, and that ball was nearly intercepted by Chris Minerich, who should have had it.
It's a good thing that the defender also, or the receiver, kind of batted it down because he had clear sailing down the sideline. You can see right here, he's going to run it out, and the linebacker comes underneath. He kind of looks him off. He goes under. If this ball is picked right here, he is off to the races. That was a great play by the wide receiver. You can see right there, the ball was somewhat deflected, but right there, that was a great play by the defender because he would have picked up 6.
3rd and 10 from the 31. Kennedy redirecting Brendan Haas in motion. Running it to that side, now wants to throw it back to the left. Gets rid of it.
Oh my!
Catch made by Kevin Lowry.
Unbelievable.
Down at the 10-yard line. Holy smokes, talk about some serious ad-libbing.
You know, not only did I think the ball was going to be picked off, there was 2 defenders right there. The ball sailed, and he goes up in the air and makes a great catch.
How did Lowry make that catch between 2 defenders? A gain, by the way, of 21 yards.
This is a flood. This is not a design play, and he's coming back in through here, and he just throws it up for grabs. Wow-wee, who's doing all that drawing? And look at this. Great catch going up in the air to get that. I mean, that was just great athleticism.
Can you at least stay within the lines?
I guess.
1st and 10. And that play stopped for no gain. As the carry there by Eric Strait. First time we've called his name in a while on this drive.
Well, you know, by formation, they've taken him out of the play. The focus has been on Benji Kennedy. He's a great athlete. You put the ball in your athlete's hand, and, you know, he's the quarterback, can do it all, run and throw.
It looks like it is possible to get a first down without scoring a touchdown.
By a yard.
By about, inches. Straight hit hard and brought down. Big stop by the Joliet Catholic defense.
Sometimes people at this point might wonder, why don't you stay in that particular formation at Polecat to spread them out? Because the field right now is shorter, and they can't run them off as deep. So it's a whole different zone down here.
Morris has taken a timeout. We'll take a timeout. 1:03 remaining. Joliet Catholic leading by 7. Let's hear now from your network sponsors on the IHSA TV network. .103 remaining. Joliet Catholic defending a 7-point lead. Morris with it 3rd and 10 from just outside the 10-yard line. Benji Kennedy with another spread formation. Ryan Kroos goes in motion as Kennedy rolls left. Throwing for the end zone, incomplete.
That was smart, not taking the sack, but sometimes you get carried away. You want to not take the sack and you throw it up for grabs and somebody picks it off, but they lived through that one. They've got one more play here.
Tell you what, heck of a job by our camera crew trying to keep those cameras still in the wind like this. You saw a little effect of the wind in that previous shot. 57 seconds remaining. And it's all coming down to this for Morris. Yeah, you can get a first down without scoring, but basically right here, Jack Morris got to score.
Well, they get down that close. I think whoever has the ball is going to score. He's not going to come up short. They have to spread them out here. And crossing routes, it's easy to say up here, but
57 seconds remaining. Kennedy on 4th down, doubles back. He's got some room.
Oh no!
Out of bounds, incomplete. Looking for Kevin Lowry, and the ball goes over on downs. Lowry pointing to the official saying, "I got inside the pylon." But Joliet Catholic has apparently held on with 47 seconds remaining.
Interesting. He wants to spread out here. The play is designed again to go in this direction, but he gets stifled right here, and then we have what we call a scramble drill. You see the receivers at the top coming back, and he tries again to throw it away from his body. He lost the grip on that ball.
Yeah,
he lost the grip. And let's take a look right here.
Nope,
I don't think so.
He was out of bounds when he made the catch. If he gets firm grip on that throw, he might have had a chance to make the connection to Lowry.
Very possible. That was a great camera shot to show how he did lose the grip on that football.
They go down to one knee. The clock is running. Morris has just one timeout left.
Boy, we had a barn burner here, didn't we? This was a heck of a football game.
30 seconds remaining. And that's all that's separating Joliet Catholic from a state record 10th state championship. And their 3rd in a row.
Sometimes people don't realize how difficult it is to get down here, and that stat is just mind-boggling.
This will be the last snap of the game. 10 seconds for the game. Holding on to it is the quarterback, and that's going to be it. The clock winding down, and the Hilltoppers, for the 3rd consecutive year, have won a state championship. They hold on and beat a gutsy Morris team 27-20. The final here for the 5A championship. Wow. This game was everything we thought it could be.
And more.
And then some. What a game. Came down to one last play for Morris. And Joliet Catholic, you knew that JR was reliving that last carry where he had fumbled it on the 4th down play. And was he hoping, was that going to be the turning point in the football game? But his defense came through, and another state championship for Joliet. Morris now 0-4 in postseason play against the Hilltoppers, and just write another great chapter in what is already a bitter but tremendous neighborhood rivalry there out along Interstate 80.
Well, you know, this is one of those situations where you're in a state championship game, and it's really unfortunate that somebody has to go home and I don't want to use the term loser, I'll say somebody has to go home in second place, because both these teams are outstanding football teams, as well as outstanding football programs that have sustained themselves for years and years.
Many felt the winner of that Joliet Catholic Riverside Brookfield quarterfinal game was, many felt that was the state championship game. Morris said, well, we beg to differ, and they certainly gave a good accounting of themselves today, but Joliet Catholic, give them credit. An uncharacteristic quick strike offense. Of their 4 scoring drives, 3 were a minute 8 or less, including a couple, one 8 seconds, the other 23 seconds.
Well, from a coaching standpoint, you love those scores, but you would hope that it would take about 6 to 8 minutes in the drive to score, so you'd eat up that clock, but they apparently didn't think that they needed to do that.
Well, I suppose as we look, Kurt has got a victorious head coach down on the field.
That's right, guys. Dan Sharper's a little bit wet. He's been dumped with the water, and I guess it feels pretty good after he had to sweat out that 4th and goal.
It was Riverside all over again. Down at the end, our kids had to make a play, and they did it again. Now, my hat's off to our defense, Coach McLaughlin. Our offense made great plays, big plays. We need them. We made some great adjustments at halftime, you know, with the help of our offensive staff. I'm just beside myself. 10 championships. I'm so proud of this school. I'm so proud of my seniors, you know, J.R., Gruber. So I came back here 5 years ago to be part of something special, and it is very special at JCA.
Certainly it is special, and the adjustments that your team made, you really hadn't seen that spread offense. RB tried to do it a little bit, but this was really a whole different animal, wasn't it?
This was the old lonesome polecat, Tiger Ellison, and that was the start of the run and shoot, really. And Dan Darlington, his football historian he is, pulled one out and almost got us, but our kids came through and made plays when they had to.
Well, the tradition never graduates, as they say, and 10 championships has got to feel real good.
It feels great, and I'm going to go celebrate with my kids right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. Dan Sharp, the victorious head coach of Joliet Catholic, their 10th championship in 12 state final appearances. Tom?
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Joliet Catholic now 41-1 over the last 3 years. Back with more as we're between games. We'll crown a champion. We'll take this network break on the IHSA TV network. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Champaign as the celebration continues for Joliet Catholic, as they're getting ready for the 2nd place trophy presentation to a real gutsy ball club, the Redskins of Morris, coming off the only losing season in Dan Darlington's history, and they take home a prize trophy. Not the one they wanted.
Well, it's not the one they wanted, but they played a heck of a football game. They had a great season, and they just came up to a real juggernaut in the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers.
Eric Strait playing his last game as a Redskin. Look at that highly decorated helmet that he carries off. A proud, rich tradition that writes another storied chapter there at Morris High School on Route 47. There's Dan Sharp winning a state championship, and Dan Darlington comes over to congratulate him.
You know, how about that? That's high school sportsmanship at its finest right there. 2 teams in a dogfight, and then when it's all over, you know, they both realize that they were in one heck of a game.
Well, Josh Tischer used to be one of his ball boys at Manuka.
That's unbelievable.
How about that? So there was obviously something special there in that meeting, Josh Tischer and Dan Sharp. And there is the victorious Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic, a 10th state championship. You can see them. J.R. Zwerzinski, look how he just without a helmet stands head and shoulders above his other teammates.
I hope that platform's reinforced. There's a lot of beef up on that stand right now.
J.R. being recruited by Penn State as a linebacker. Illinois is recruiting him as a running back. Northwestern wants to build an offense around him. He is a highly prized recruit, but that's not what he's thinking of right at this very moment. So the celebration continuing here at down on the field.
There's Gruber, who's had a...
You know, you wonder for Joliet Catholic, and I suppose the smiles tells you the answer. I guess it never gets old.
Well, it doesn't, because, you know, you talk about tradition, but you have to realize their tradition is something that the school name has. These kids were never involved in those earlier state championships, maybe last year, but certainly not 5, 6, 7 years ago. They're just living off of that tradition and then creating their own legendary situation.
And a 10th state championship trophy is heading back to Joliet. The tradition began when Gordy Gillespie's team collected 4 consecutive state championships when this playoff series all began back in 1974.
Well, Dan Sharp is on his way to creating his own history at Joliet Catholic with his 3rd consecutive state championship. That's a great scene. I just hope that all of those kids have somebody at home that's been taping this so they can show it to their grandkids and their children years from now.
Well, that's something about winning a state championship. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a state champion in a different sport in the stadium, in track back in 1968. And it's something you'll never, ever forget, no matter how many times you've won one, even like at Joliet Catholic.
Well, we talked to the kids about it. You know, sometimes you'll forget your history teacher and your math teacher, and you'll have memories that you think are great, but these are things that'll last forever. When you have that reunion 20 years from now, that touchdown run that you made or that kick is, you know, is always 20 yards longer. That run is about 50 yards longer as each year grows.
Of course, we know about that big game in January that never seems to live up to the billing. Not so with this 5A game today, because those of us who've been following football all these years in Illinois, when you saw that Joliet Catholic and Morris run a collision course, you knew that you were really in store for a great game. Let's go down to the field now, and Kurt, and he's going to visit with one of the big stars from Joliet Catholic.
All right, Tommy Zwerzinski with us. 3 state championships that you've been a part of. Is this one perhaps the sweetest because it came down to the final seconds?
Definitely would say it was the sweetest. I'm a senior now, and it just makes it, you know, a lot better that I finally, you know, go out with the win.
How satisfying is it to be a part? I mean, you guys had the bullseye on your chest every time you take the field. Everybody wants to beat Joliet Catholic. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at you tonight, and you still came through with a victory.
Yeah, you know, we had good halftime adjustments that really helped us. That's really what won the game for us, I think.
I know you're thinking about college. Is this helping your decision at all, winning a state championship at this place?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Go celebrate with your team.
All right, thank you.
All right, J.R. Zwerzinski, as we mentioned, 3 state championship. The guy has 7 school records. He's done about everything, and now he's got 3 gold medals around his neck to prove that he is a part of this state championship tradition at Joliet Catholic. Tom?
Indeed, Kurt, 3 gold medals, and he retires, or ends his career, I should say, at Joliet Catholic as that school's all-time leading rusher. He surpassed Mike Allstott, now, of course, playing in the NFL with Tampa Bay earlier this year. Coming up, we'll have more. Coming up, an exciting battle for the 6A championship, but first, we'll hear from your local stations on the IHSA TV network. And welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Champaign, where the 5A championship has been concluded with Joliet Catholic defeating Morris by the score of 27-20 as they rack up another state championship in a ball game that, you know, you look at the way Joliet Catholic's offense, when they started out the day, the first time that JR touches the football, he rambles, and you thought, the first thought obviously in Morris's fans' minds was, oh no, here we go again. And the game was anything but, because they went up to a 14-0 lead, and give Morris a lot of credit the way they made a heck of a game out of it.
Well, definitely, that's a scare, the first play of the game, and they score. But, you know, Morris's character over the years has been such that they're not intimidated by other teams. They've been in big games before. That's their history. That's their tradition. Dan Darlington has been here 5 other times, so he knows what it takes. They showed poise. They showed great character. They came back. Joliet Catholic actually had to go to a couple trick plays to score.
As we take a look, I believe, at the stats, and we see that in total yardage, look how close they were. 308 yards to 294. Time of possession. Morris, you wouldn't have thought that with the way the game started.
But it turned out that Joliet Catholic had that quick strike opportunity, so they didn't run a lot of time off the clock when they scored.
We said before the game, Joliet, run. They did. We said, Morris, keep them off balance, show some balance. They did as well. Look at the passing and rushing yards.
Well, you know, if you took the scoreboard away and just looked at those stats, you would say Morris won the football game. I think from top to bottom, because of time of possession and certainly because of the balance of the offense.
So 27-20, Joliet Catholic chalks up the state championship. They finished the season with a record of 13-1. Morris, boy, Dan Darlington has brought a undefeated team into the championship game 4 previous times. And it's tough when that first loss of the year comes when all the marbles are on the line.
Well, you know, when you tell kids that tomorrow nobody's going to be playing. Both teams are not going to be playing football tomorrow. One will be a winner and one will not be a winner. And as far as I'm concerned, Morris has had a great season. The toughest thing is for Dan Darlington to be able to talk these kids into believing that they really are not a loser from going 13-1. You know, a good night's sleep, and tomorrow they'll wake up and life goes on.